Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Welcome on this Saturday morning. It is July. What day is it? It's July 11th, 2020, to the 754th episode. Excuse me. 754th episode of the long-running and hilarious podcastio programmio of the stream, Dave's Gone By, with me, Dave, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, and something very, very exciting, considering all the bad things and just the terrible way that people have been and that the world has been for the past few weeks. You have something very fun and special to share with you, and you can see it right there. Very exciting. But anywho, we're calling this episode, in a rather germane way, we're calling it, Is Anybody Happy?
Do you want your egg cream or do you want tea?
I've got my tea right here. I'm all set, and I'll have the egg cream later. Because Rabbi Saul will be with us. That makes me happy.
I've been writing to your group saying we made it through the tropical storm yesterday, so how about celebrating with Dave?
How about celebrating with me? Well, there's not that much to celebrate right now. Under any stretch, under any sense of the imagination. And as a matter of fact, we did have Tropical Storm Faye popping through Long Island and then through much of the East Coast yesterday. So our internet has been spotty. So if I lose you or you lose me, please come back. We're here until noon. We go 9 to noon on Saturday mornings in the Daverhood here. But we're calling this one, Is Anybody Happy? Because we know that phrase, and I think it came from Happy Days, of all places, of yowza, 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 is everybody happy? Which I had thought was this 1920s, they shoot horses, don't they, marathon vaudeville phrase. But I guess everywhere I looked, it's like it came from Richie saying it on Happy Days. But this line of like, is everybody happy? And I've been looking around me at home and where I work, and quite honestly, it's like, is anybody happy?
I'm happy when I'm not in searing pain.
Well, Joy, my wife Joyce, she's had headaches for the past 3 days. She has not been happy. We've both been grieving the loss of our dog, Oofty Gooft, who died 2 weeks ago. We talked about him last week. So we're not happy. I'm back at work full time, which is a happy thing in terms of, my wallet. But I was off for 3 months and still paid. So that was better. Now I'm miserable because I'm back at work and I have to work for my pay. That sucks. I'd like to be independently wealthy at some point, or be famous to the point where you do a show or a movie for a couple of weeks and then get a couple of $1 million and you don't have to do anything the rest of the year. I like that. Don't like having to schlep in 5 days a week and work among people, right? One of whom, all of us are laissez-faire except this one woman I work with, and she's terrified. She wears a mask. Excuse me. She wears a mask all day long, and I don't blame her. I think that's fine. I think she's right. But
tell them about the person who made the joke we just saw.
Yeah, well, there's this guy who was in the news, and weeks ago, where was he, in New York or where? I think he was in another part of Chicago. So he was saying, "Oh, this mask thing is a big hoax. It's all stupid. It's all pointless," and refused to wear a mask.
I'm saying hi and everybody enters the room.
Yeah, and refused to engage in the protocols that have been suggested to all Americans over the past 4 months. And what happened? He got sick, and he died. That makes me happy. Not so much because, he was wrong, but in the sense that we had to put up with all this crap. Nobody wants to wear a mask everywhere. Nobody wants to, but we've all been doing it. And he thought he was so smart, and he thought he was so right in, like, I'm not going to wear no mask. And God said, you probably should have.
Is this for an egg cream?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything's there for the egg cream. I'm starting early with my egg cream to clear the phlegm out. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night, so I'm not at my very best here. But this will put me towards my best. Look at this beautiful creation here. It's called the egg cream. Mm. Oh,
Do you want some blueberries?
no, thank you.
Can that help you?
No, but this will. Oh my God. This is second only to chicken soup, the egg crepe. But anywho, so so she's wearing a mask all day. So for the first like 3 weeks I've been working there, every time I get up from my desk and have to go even in her general vicinity, much further than 6 feet away, I'm like, okay, put on the mask. I won't even tie the thing. I just throw it over my mouth and nose and hope it doesn't fall down while I'm walking there. And it's just back and forth because I have to do this like 50 to 80 times a day. Back and forth, back and forth. And everybody, nobody else, the guy I've been working, he hasn't worn a fucking mask since I've been there, right? Because he's an isolated kind of a guy. He doesn't go near us. We don't go near him. Fantastic. He goes, and we're all supposed to, and we go in the hallway or more communal areas in our building where we work. He will tie on the mask. When he goes to the break room for lunch, he will put on the mask. But in our room, more than 6 feet away from us, he didn't. He hasn't. He won't.
People what your shirt says they
Yeah.
want to see.
So, but me, I'm trying to be nice, mainly to the woman who is wearing a mask and who is very seriously concerned about her own health and is seriously concerned about working in a public building
And
with
you don't know
staff.
who she lives with. She might live with high-risk people, David.
Well, unless I'm greatly mistaken, I'm not going to mention, she is divorced,
Yeah, but she
rather
might be-
acrimonious one.
But
But
she might be high risk too. You don't know what people.
she
are-
might, exactly, she might be for her sake, and that's why when I was going near her for the first two, it was like, I'm in the same room that you are, so when I get up from my desk, I'm putting the mask on. It just is a show of support.
Well, it's
for
respectful.
you.
That's respectful.
Yeah, but this week I stopped. This week I was just like, you know what? This guy doesn't wear a mask, and he's closer to you than I am. I've got to do this.
We need to get you the mask with the ear thing, so you just put the rubber band around your ear, so it's quick.
Just foam,
Yeah,
foam,
that's quicker.
foam,
Yeah,
foam.
yeah, that's quicker.
Yeah.
Gotta get that.
Well, I do it quick. I do not tie it. I
Oh.
mean, I just go boom, pull it behind the ears, and of course the fun of that is we had a very nice lady back in Colorado who made us masks back in March, and she sent us these homemade fabric masks. They're wonderful. But because of the way I use them, I pull, I tie tight, and then one side. So I'm going to show you my mask. Hold on. I'm going to go get it. Check this out, folks. Isn't this marvelous? Here. Very nice woman named Katie made the masks that
She
I have
made
been
not only
wearing.
for us, but mommy, and my mom keeps saying, "Did you thank Katie because I love my mask? It's green." And every time I tell mom, I say I spoke to Katie and I thanked her. But she sewed them and they have a filter. Is your filter in?
No, I don't wear a
We have
filter.
a new replacement filter.
If there's any human being in the world who is unfiltered, it's me. Let me tell you about. So, but here's the deal. When I tie it, this is
Say
this.
hi. There are a lot of people I'm saying hi to.
All right, let's say hi and then I'll go.
No, you keep going.
Okay, so here's the mask, and I don't care which the blue direction, the red direction, just throw it over my goddamn face, and there I go, and sort of boom, boom, and this is how I'll walk around because I'll get up, I'll do something that takes me 15 seconds, and then back off again. But the problem is then it pulls one side of the thing, and I've got to go like this half the day, and then this, and this is all the way in. Look at that! What a pain in the ass! Look. I mean, God bless Katie for making these things. It would happen with any mask that I wear.
You have a new shield. You want the new shield?
Later. You mean the thing that goes in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No.
you have a new blue piece. You have it on backward now.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
No, this thing has been wonderful, and it's been absolutely a godsend. I mean, we ended up buying some other masks just in case as backups, but But there's the thing. I'm just I tried for 2 weeks. That's my limit. 2 weeks of being considerate and nice, not to mention careful and healthy. But since New York.
Do they still take your temperatures every day?
Did I talk about this last week?
No.
Oh, this is the most fantastic thing ever.
What?
I talked about this 3 weeks ago when they were going to implement this at our place of business, at where we work. So part of our protocol is that we are supposed to have our temperatures taken when we're first getting to the building to make sure. And I read this out, the form that we have to fill out to vouchsafe for legal reasons, I'm sure,
Yeah.
that we don't have a temperature, that we haven't been exposed that we know of to COVID, that we don't suspect we have COVID, that we haven't talked to anybody. Isn't it like Joseph McCarthy hearing questions? Have you been in contact with anyone who suspects that he or she might have COVID? Like, yes.
You can't even type the word COVID.
Right. And then you have to sign it and date it. And okay, fine. It's horseshit protocol, but it protects our library against lawsuits because they say, hey, look, they signed the thing. They took their temperature. And we don't have sick people coming in here. And they got this little portable thermometer that doesn't look like your old-fashioned thermometer. I was hoping it was going to be a rectal. It's not. And our boss, and I don't know how this falls under her job description, she's a manager, but she is the one, when we come in the morning, she's the one who has to stand there like a highway patrolman. I mean, this is a woman, her job is to order books in the 600 section to make sure that we do our jobs in terms of dressing books so that they can properly go on shelves in the library, and coordinating. She's not a nurse. And yet it is somehow part of her task work that she has to do is stand there in the morning with this implement, this plastic thing, and hold it close to our head. So she's got to get almost as close as 6 feet just to do this. She's wearing a mask, of course, and so are we. And hold it sort of relatively near our foreheads, right? And she's been doing this the past 2 weeks. First time she did it. First time she went up to me, took my temperature. It took about 10 seconds. And my body temperature was 95.4. I said, I'm dying. I'm either dying or I'm a reptile. If my temperature were 95.4, I would be on the floor shivering.
Let me look that up. I don't think that's true.
Now, in retrospect,
what was it?
95.4 Fahrenheit. And we all ran low. It turns out either she's not holding it close enough to our foreheads, which I completely understand, not wanting to do this, or is this particular thing?
Oh, hypothermia. It says, hypothermia is a medical condition. Wait, no, that's not.
Well, it is, yeah.
When is body temperature too low? I'm looking at reading Harvard. Okay.
My wife Joyce was looking up body temperature where you start to lose consciousness.
Harvard wants me. I don't want emails from Harvard.
Screw Harvard. They rejected me. Nothing from Harvard or Yale, please. What about NYU, Langone?
It says healthy body temperature range from 94 to 99.6.
I mean, there's people walking around with 94-degree temperatures?
94 to 99.6 is normal. The average temperature is really 97.7. That's the average normal, yeah.
Whoa! Because I always knew that my father, I thought I talked about this last week, but maybe I didn't.
Are you taking beta blockers or antipsychotic drugs?
I should.
That could lower your temperature.
I know that my dad runs low when he has a fever. He has sort of an anti-fever. When he would get sick, I don't think this is true of him anymore, but all the years when I was growing up, we knew he had a temperature when he wasn't 98.5 or 6 or 9, he would be 97. And we knew he wasn't feeling well, and he would run backwards. But me...
I think it's your antipsychotic drugs.
Joyce is right. Well, what is an Xanax or something? I don't know what they are.
Whatever it is.
Zovirax. No.
Let's see if we get Wilson's temperature syndrome.
Wilson's temperature? What is that?
I don't know. It's compared to thyroid.
Oh, okay. But so on our first day, I test 95.4. First time I've ever had a temperature like that, even close to it. And we look at the thing, and this machine, this thermometer. First of all, when she stands there holding it, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie No Country for Old Men, the Coen Brothers film based on the Cormac McCarthy novel. And there's the scene where the bad guy, Anton Chigurh...
Also depends on the stage of your menstrual cycle.
Oh, well, it's definitely my menses. No, but there's that scene where the bad guy steals this pressure pump from a gas station. He doesn't kill the gas station owner,
Oh, it
but he
does.
steals the pressure pump, and then he goes out on the highway, gets a guy out of the car, and kills him with like the thing that puts the bolts on the tires.
This is
That's what you feel like
this
in that
is
moment.
95 could be hypothermia.
95 could be hypothermia. So you hold this thing up. And first of all, the thing, you look on it, where's it made?
Do you have nerve
What
damage?
country, I don't have nerve, but what country do you think this thing is made?
The UK.
No. Where's almost everything made? China. Same place the virus comes from. I don't know if it was made in like a Wuhan lab, right? But this implement that is supposed to, it's like, that's reading everybody. Because I was 95, everybody else was 96, 97, which to me is still, you know, I grew up 98.6 was the thing. That wasn't whether you put the thermometer in your mouth or in your tushy. You know, you looked at it, you looked for the mercury, the red thing to go to 98.6. If it was significantly lower, significantly higher, you had a problem. Now it's like, oh, 90, Joyce is saying 95.7. Oh, it's normal. Normal, right? Everything's normal. And it occurs to me that the hilarious part of this is that, let's say, because if you have, I forget what it is, 100.4 or higher or 100.7, you're supposed to circle the other number and get the hell home and notify your thing and leave the building.
Wow.
Well, nobody's going to go that high. Because on that thermometer, if you test like 101.6, you actually have 104 temperature. You are going to explode.
Wow.
You know, if you have 100 really in your body, that thing's going to read 98. It staggers me. Yeah. And I think that's just quite wonderful. But that's part of the thing. We are doing the temperature.
Your happy toothbrush.
Oh, my happy toothbrush. That's the only thing. Getting the toothbrush
You want the toothbrush?
was a moment of happiness. Yes, I would. I really would. Because over these past few weeks, everybody is bummed out. More bummed out in a weird way than we were. In March, we were all afraid. In March, it was this impending sort of zombied out, pre-traumatic, thank you, thing, kind of like right after 9/11-ish. Yeah. Well, I use
you
it.
Want to towel?
No, I'm great. Just want to. So one of the few things that has made me happy, I am never happy, but one of the few things that has given me like a moment
I'm putting in a toothpaste there.
of joy is this toothbrush that I got. And I demonstrated this a week or two ago, that this is so industrial in its spinny brushy that, you know, you turn it on, and it's like, I did this, and it's true. You put it on your gum, and you go, but you hit just the right point when you push it down.
You, David.
I'm sorry, what?
They should sponsor you.
And my face starts rattling.
Like
I don't
the
think that will
best
sponsor me because I'm already a little pissed off at it.
Why?
Because when I get up and when I want to use it, this thing gets stuck. The on button, probably because it's humid. It's in a bathroom.
Probably because excessive use. You're you know.
Yeah, I use it several times a day. I just sit in my office and go like, see, look at it. I can't even.
You're like your Aunt Esther with the can opener.
It's like Melloral. Everything, your head just. I recommend, if you can get it to turn on, I recommend getting a heavy duty, I said duty, toothbrush like this, that you just apply pressure to your gum, your head, your face starts to rattle, and whatever tragedy, whatever sadness is in your mind, it will be vibrated away. Now I understand why women like vibrators. I mean, I always understood why women like vibrating, but now I really, really get it. I wonder if a woman has ever done this, where she's got a toothbrush in one end and, like, you know, the bunny rabbit in the other.
That's crazy.
she just completely loses her mind. It would work. I recommend it in your private sexual activities. Get yourself, and the brush. I mean, this costs like what, $7 in the store, and it has batteries already in it. Combine this with whatever implement or egg that
Esther
you
says,
use for
I
pleasure.
heard you, and I don't know if that means I hear you or I heard you.
I heard. Okay, I'm glad she heard us. You know what? She heard us.
Yeah.
Now my Aunt Esther has herd immunity. These are the jokes, folks. On Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz. What else would happen? Should I tell, what other story shall I tell? Oh. So everybody's grim and down and depressed. That's why I'm calling this show, Is Anybody Happy? As I said, it's really actually been a very rough couple of weeks. We're grieving the loss of our beloved dog. We're both working. Joyce is working like crazy, and she's had headaches, and I've been dealing with work and shopping, and et cetera, and so forth. And everybody I work with is nervous and upset and angry. But last Saturday, if you were watching this show, you know that I was excited about something. You know what I'm talking about.
Sister being on the show?
Oh, well, certainly a shout out to Vicky Quaddy, our wonderful guest last week.
Did you like this ruler spanking? You're trying to put your tushy up to the computer. When
I didn't do my tushy. I didn't think of that. Wow, that would have been fun. Actually, it wasn't me. It was Rabbi Saul Solomon.
Usually the nuns whack you anywhere they can reach you while you're running. It's not like a choice.
But I purposely ended the show 5 minutes early last week because I wanted to get on the interwebs or get on the television to ESPN and watch live from Coney Island. The Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Did you watch it? Did some of you tune in? Either on the interwebs or was on ESPN TV.
When I did that, 4 people just joined.
Oh, well, welcome 4 people who just joined.
Do you want to reenact your Triscuit eating? You were
I apologize for last week. So here's the deal.
You want that or your pea pod thing?
That'll take hours. So, no, I need something small like the Triscuit, okay. like the wheat thin.
Okay.
So in honor of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest last week, there's no way I could eat 10 hot dogs, let alone 70-something that people were doing in this contest. But I reversed it. During last week's show, I ate a wheat thin very, very slowly. And I promised my competition was, can I make this wheat thin cracker last throughout the entirety of this episode of the show? And I did. I got to the end of the show at about 11:55 Eastern Time, and I had like a full quarter or so of the cracker left, and I just ate it, and I was like, yeah, I did. I made that tiny little cracker last. But then I got hundreds, if not thousands, of complaint letters. And I said, Dave, you cheated. What do you mean I cheated? I said, Dave, the idea was you were going to nibble on this cracker and eat it slowly throughout the program. But what would actually happen was, you'd take a nibble, and then a half hour would go by, and you would not touch the cracker again. That is not slow eating. That is slow avoiding. So I'm gonna.
Does that meet specifications?
I don't have the ruler. I'll use this for the ruler. Hold on.
Okay.
This is important, folks.
Oh God.
This is a regulation-sized wheat thin cracker.
Does it have any defects?
It is slightly bowed in the middle, which might make it a little better for crunching. It has a bit of a raised speck here. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and do it on the three-dimensional level.
Are you going to dip it?
I will not be dipping it in my tea or in my egg cream.
That's the most disgusting thing. They wet the hot dog bun. I'd rather.
Well, you do kind of wet the hot dog bun when you eat it. It's just your saliva doing it. They're bypassing the saliva point. But I'm going to eat this cracker over the course of this program, from now until noon or thereabouts, very, very slowly. And I hope Joyce will remind me, or you guys can remind me, that if I haven't taken a nibble of this cracker in, let's say, 15, if it's more than 15 minutes have gone by before you know what, let's really make this tough. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I've got to be nibbling on this cracker. It can be just a little bit. I'm going to start it now. Or do we have... there we go. There goes some. And again, I'm proving to you, I know this is disgusting, but you see on my tongue, I have taken the first nibble
Let me see.
of wheat thin. Yeah, see? Here it is. Here it is. I need to be taking one of these every 10 minutes or less during this broadcast without finishing this wheat thin. Can I do it? We're going to find out, ladies and gentlemen. And all of this is in honor of one of the few things that has been a delight and a joy for me this summer, was watching the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. They did it properly. They did it social distancing. They did it indoors with no crowd.
The announcer was on drugs.
It's supposed to be. It's a beautiful thing. And one of the things was, and this is kind of, and Joey predicted this, and I guess it was in his mind before starting, and it came to fruition. He said that, because they have to make fewer hot dogs, there were a lot fewer contestants in this year's competition. I think they limited it to like 5 total. 5 total men, 5 total women in separate contests. The quality of the hot dogs was somehow better. That they cook them better.
They were warmer, hotter. They weren't cold. The heat helped eat
them. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So the heat, he thought would be, he predicted, would be a good factor, that they would be better and better cooked and warmer.
Yeah.
And he also said the opposite of that, the temperature of the room. Because so many times when you're in the middle of Coney Island, outdoors, on a podium on July 4th, it's blazing sun hot. And that makes it more difficult to do what these people are doing, right? Because the sun's pouring down, they can get the meat sweats anyway, but combine that with just having to schwitz and schwitz. So he said being in a comfortable 68-degree indoor room under more ideal conditions put Joey Chestnut in the frame of mind and in the place where he could really, really go for breaking his own record of 70, I think his record was 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Speaking of 10 minutes, I'm really pushing it. Look at this. There you go. But first they began with the women. And I've got to say, I was never all that interested in the women competition, but I like Miki Sudo. She's a sweetie. She really is. She is the Asian class above classes of all the women
but also
eaters.
Her boyfriend and her partner is also a competitive eater. So.
I didn't say which. I don't think she and Joey are like them, but yeah. But she won handily. Was she down like 40? I
48.5.
Good memory. Mm-hmm. Yes, Miki Sudo chowed down in 10 minutes on 48.5.
Talk about the school marm.
Oh yeah, there was this. An older lady was one of her competition. She did like 9 hot dogs in 10. I could eat 9 hot dogs in 10 minutes if I were to vomit. But this woman, one of the competitors, one of the 5 ranking competitors on the women's side, standing up there on in front with the craziness and the carnival barker announcer guy, and the plates of hot dogs, shoveling hot dogs into her face, was a woman whose day job, swear to God, is superintendent of a school district.
Yeah. I just want to say this as an academic. We get paid so little, we get extra money where we can.
Hey, tell me about it.
Yeah.
And you don't make, if you're a woman competitive eater and you're not top of the, you don't make a lot of extra money.
But I bet the kids or the faculty probably did some kind of competition. Like if she ate this many hot dogs, they do that.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sure.
But is that, I don't know. I mean, if you are in charge of thousands of children.
Yeah. And it's a choking hazard.
Is that a moral, is that something you want children watching you
choking.
do?
Like,
yeah.
for young children, you don't give them hot dogs because the skin, they could choke.
Right. And young girls, you don't give them hot dogs because you want to save that lesson for when they're 11 or 12. But yeah. So Miki Sudo, champion of champions, she puts down 48 hot dogs, and then the main event, Joey Jaws Chestnut gets up there, and you can tell this is one of those years. There was a year or two there when I saw him, and I was like, he's going to be good, but he's not going to, the record ain't going to happen this year. I can just sort of tell the way he was talking, the way he was thinking, it was hot. But you got the feeling yesterday that he was in the zone.
What did they win?
Well, I know he might win like 10 grand. We're not talking about millions of dollars here. But he can, this is a man, it's not a once a year thing. These are competitive eaters everywhere. He's going to go next week and eat like 40 gallons of chili in 5 minutes. And then he'll go a week later and he'll down like 60 hot wings. Here's what they do. And he probably makes 6 figures, I hope, at this point. And remember, there's nobody close to him. That's the thing. The second best competitive eater, Chestnut. The second best competitive eater in the world probably makes about 30 grand a year from what they do if they're lucky. If they always come in second or third or fourth. And that was the only disappointing aspect of last week's what?
It gets $10,000 a year.
You mean from the Nathan's thing? The winner.
It says Chestnut's 2020 net worth is estimated $1.5 million.
Oh.
According to Celebrity Net Worth.
Okay.
The Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest pays its winners
$10,000
every year. An event Chestnut has won 13 times.
But think about it. Now, granted, he can parlay. Well, what?
The site also states the top competitive eaters can easily make $500,000 a year between winning, a combination of winning and sponsorship.
Sponsorship. That's the thing. He gets to do, if people are going to hire him for commercials, or he gets to be like the guy, and fly free all over the place, or go to these competitions. So Nathan's is making a mint. Well, I mean, $10,000. You can win on The Price is Right, and they pay you more than that.
He beat Tsunami Kobayashi.
Yeah.
Hiro Subayashi.
Yeah.
That's the first person he beat.
Uh-huh.
He was a San Jose University student, and he began eating deep-fried asparagus. That was when he rose to fame.
Yeah.
He ate 6.3 pounds of asparagus in 11 minutes. And then he ate 32 hot dogs after Kobayashi.
32. Think about this now. 32 was a big number for everybody. For Kobayashi about a decade or so ago. What?
He ate a gallon of milk drank a gallon of milk in 41 seconds. It's disgusting.
I hope that's not on video. I really hope.
Ate 241 chicken wings in 30 minutes in 2018. In 2019, he consumed 10.5 pounds of macaroni in 7 minutes.
Oh, God. Wait. Give people a chance to digest, pun intended, to digest this. Well, imagine a man eating 10 pounds of macaroni nonstop.
In 2010, he ate 380 shrimp wontons in 8 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, picture this, folks. I mean, I'm sure this is on video, but picture the massive and the non-stopness of this.
He won a first ever Pepto-Bismol bratwurst eating contest. He devoured 42 Queen City sausage brats in 12 minutes.
That's the equivalent of like 70-something hot dogs.
37 slices of pizza in 10 minutes.
How? How?
Then he's got 7.6 pounds of chicken wings in 2 minutes.
I mean, he's a master. He is the best we have. But that's the funny thing, that he is the winner of the Nathan's contest. Nathan's should be, they should tack another 0 onto the reward money for winning their competition. They get so much publicity, so much free sway, or whatever word you want to use, from holding these competitions, and from someone like Joey Chestnut representing them, and Miki Sudo too, and being out there and drumming up excitement about Nathan's 100-year-old hot dogs, that it's almost like, I mean, I get it, they don't want it to be...
His girlfriend, fiance that he proposed to, left him.
Oh.
I guess if your husband constantly spends time eating sausages.
Well, think about that. And she's like, "Oh, honey, shall we have some fun tonight?" And he's like, "I was eating all day. You want me to eat that?"
Oh, this is when they were happy.
Oh man! But congratulations, I didn't mention.
His girlfriend was a competitive eater. See?
Oh, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. So, but the deal is, he went and ate 75.
David, he proposed before one of the eating competitions at Nathan's one year.
Really? Yeah. He should have done it after, because he'd be down on his hands and knees anyway. He'd be like, "Darling, I have something to tell you. Would you make me the happiest?"
I want you to see this. He proposed to her with a hot dog there, Frankster.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's
Frankster. Yeah, is that plugged in? I can show people. I can, if you. I'm going to show people this picture. I know it's no, it's an incredibly heavy laptop. Here we go. I can't really bring this closer.
Apparently they broke up.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a shame. I guess you could say she truly lost her meal ticket, if you think about it. But, yeah. I'm sad that he... How long ago was the breakup?
It said... Personal life. It said he proposed to her in 2014, but then they split in 15.
Oh, so it's like 5 years ago.
Yeah, but he split in 15, so...
What do you mean he split?
They split.
Yeah, in fact, I'm saying, it was like 5 years ago that... so he's single, ladies. Yeah. So, well, but actually, kind of lucky in a way. I guess because he's still relatively young. But this is a man who he's not thin, but he's not what I would call necessarily obese. So this is a guy who can eat 15 pounds of coleslaw.
Oh, Matt Stoney. Why wasn't Matt Stoney there?
Yeah, there were a couple of people who were supposed to be, but this man who can eat 15 pounds of coleslaw.
Yeah.
In like 10 minutes. Get rid of it however he gets rid of it.
Oh.
And it won't put on much weight. Whereas your normal man who is approaching middle age, if he has like 2 hot dogs and a hamburger on July 4th, he suddenly wakes up on Monday and he's got 2 pounds extra on him. So, this guy's got a talent, you know? But yeah, no, that was one of the other disappointments at the contest is Matt Stoney wasn't there, Kobayashi wasn't there. Some of the people who are the other competitors weren't there, which I figure they were missing, and they would have egged him on and made him go even faster. But he set the record: 75 hot dogs in 10 minutes. He's a machine. He is Jaws. He is God. He is, I mean, there have been great people in the world. George Washington, fine, okay.
I mean,
Jonas Salk. But Joey Chestnut, who is this? Oh, this is Kobayashi?
Stoney.
Oh, this is George Stoney, right. Or whatever his first name is. Matt Stoney.
He's showing you how to eat that much fruit salad in like a minute.
Shall I? I don't think you want
wish to. If you're brave.
A gallon and a half.
Yes.
He hasn't even started. Oh, I guess we can try it. We can show this. I guess it's YouTube. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here he goes. He hasn't even started. Oh, do it, bro. Here we go. Oh.
Okay, honey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're fast forwarding they're doing some video stuff, but he's.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Save your audience that sheen.
Ooh, that reminds me.
David.
Yeah.
Poor man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave
Lefkowitz. I watched you doing it in the video. That's so bad.
Oh, God.
Oh. Did you eat your Triscuit?
I just had a nibble of Triscuit. Thank you for reminding me. I want to. It's not a Triscuit. We keep calling it Triscuit. We give kudos to the wrong brand. This is a wheat thin. Triscuits are more, they're more like frosted mini wheats. They're more layered like thatch. And this is more of a cracker. That is more of a straw, putting a little cluster of new mown hay is the Triscuit way of doing things. But I haven't even mentioned the stuff that we're going to be doing on this episode of Dave's Gone By, our 754th episode called Is Anybody Happy? Where, let's see, we have Greeley Crimes and Old Times. We're going to go inside Broadway. Not a lot of Broadway news at the moment, but we'll give you a little bit. Dave's Gone Canceling. Actually, last week's episode got canceled because we didn't have time for it. Last week's segment got canceled, but we're reinstalling it. We're canceling somebody else because we're in the middle of cancel culture, this ridiculous time that we're in where you can't, not only can't you say or do anything, but anything you said or did 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago is fair game for people to start calling you out and put you in a public pillory until you shed crocodile tears and apologize. So we're going to cancel somebody else. 2 weeks ago, we canceled Joni Mitchell for appearing in blackface on one of her album covers. Naughty. Oh, no, Joni. Terrible racist that she is. But we've got someone else that we're going to cancel in our Dave's Gone canceling segment. Also, we do have, I don't know if Friendy have tuned in yet, or Jeff and Cynthia, Sif, as we call them, have tuned in, or my cousin Mark. But we have our yesterday quiz of trivia. We have our Wretched Pun of Destiny, which is going to be all about icons. Mm-hmm. We have potato news. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very exciting. One of the other things that made me happy this past week was receiving in the mail, because I paid for it, a new potato. Look on him and marvel. Notice he was in a window somewhere because the hat is mostly light pink, except a darker pink that I guess was away from the light. So he was on display somewhere, but he's in very, very good condition. Look at those eyes. Look at those little eyes, the mouth. He's got the toy box tag on him. He's beautiful. New potato. So in his honor, we are doing a segment of potato news on Dave's Gone By today. Did I mention Rabbi Saul Solomon will be here to read the papers. Joyce is showing me footage of Joey Chestnut. He's just unpacking bags. Why are you?
He's eating hamburger and Big Macs.
Oh, there's a video of Joey Chestnut eating a lot of Big Macs at one time. He's stacking them first. He hasn't. You're grimacing. He hasn't even put one in his mouth yet.
He has his own channel.
Oh, he does? Joey Chestnut has his own YouTube channel. That's so cool. And we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we will be going to Dillon, Colorado, spelled like Matt Dillon, not like Bob. But there is a town, apparently a very beautiful town, called Dillon, Colorado, and I have a poem all about it. All of that still to come on Dave's Gone By. Oh, but the one other thing I wanted to mention about this whole going back to work thing. So I'm going, and this is already like 3 weeks ago, when I first went back to work, and we were all scared, not quite panicked, but we were all very anxious and very worried about each other and worried about wearing what?
Somebody said, I feel sorry for his toilet the next morning. He must look like a soft serve machine. And then that meal that he ate, the Big Macs, was 18,000 calories.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. So we're talking about the temperature taking, going back at work, and talking about all the other things. So my first or second day there, and I'll say the first name because it's the perfect first name for this guy. This is the actual first name. A guy named Carl. Carl is this very nice guy, kind of middle-aged to getting, not quite elderly, late middle-aged, real sort of, not down and out because he's got a better job than I do, but sad sack sort of a fella who works with us. And so he's there and he's always schlepping his stuff and, walking back and forth and doing, and he's in the lunchroom. And I'm in the lunchroom just getting coffee. Thank goodness I'm not even eating there yet.
Oh, is he a Big Mac eater?
I haven't had the presence of mind to eat in the lunchroom at that point yet. but I'm in the same room, and Carl's there, and his mask is like here, below his chin. And he just starts sneezing.
Oh.
And he's not even covering his fucking mouth. It's just like, he's like, hey, that's like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, God, what? All the precautions, all the wiping down. I think they put a new filter system in so that we're all breathing so-called.
They should put a new filter system in his nose.
Yeah, put a filter on your face, dude. It's like, yeah, and all of that goes out the window when you have one person.
The whole room was contaminated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially now that we know that it isn't just droplets, that these microscopic things hang in the air a lot longer than... So it's like, I didn't say anything, but I was, Jesus Christ, Carl.
Somebody has to clean that room then.
Well, I mean, nobody got COVID. We're all fine.
You won't know until a couple weeks.
I don't know what other diseases Carl may have.
No, but you won't know for 2 weeks.
We all caught sadness. Well, let's face it, I think we all have. But I did want to mention that. Oh, and here's one other thing I wanted to talk about before we really get to the show proper. Something else that made me not happy, but gave me a little bit of pleasure. Because in all the depression and the anger and all the stuff that's rolling about in my head and everybody's heads right now, getting a new potato, nothing better in the world, right? Having a job, being able to keep a job, that's good. Even though I hate the job, I'm glad I have it, right? And what else? And other thing, watching Joey Chestnut and being able to hold my toothbrush, all these things are good. And we ordered in the mail and got shorts because I needed shorts. I wanted to. One of the main supervisors where I work has been, since the place reopened, wearing like Hawaiian shirts and shorts to work. And I mean, this is the head guy. And I'm like, oh, well, if he can do it, why not? And a couple of other people were doing it. Because I was always, I figured, hey, gotta wear this, that, the other thing. And this is the middle of the summer. There's no public in the building. Why not? And I looked around and I didn't have, all my shorts were back in Colorado. And they were getting kind of ratty anyway. So I said, oh, what am I going to wear? I want to wear shorts. I can. I'm allowed to. Let's do this. So we order shorts, and I get like 4 pair, which is more than they're going to last me the next 20 years, unless I blimp out. They should last me a good long while. And so every single one of these shorts, they look great. They feel good. They're nice and cool. They got the pockets where I need them, which is an important thing. They got the drawstrings, which I don't particularly like. A couple of them have wedgies. A couple are a little too big, but I put a belt around them. They're fine. All of it's fine. But what the hell is it with, if you're wearing these like pants? Now, this is not pajamas. These are not briefs or boxers. These are pants that you're going to go wear out in the world, in the house.
They're also $12 from Kohl's.
They're also $12 from Kohl's.
I could put a hole.
I want you to tell me what is missing on this pair of shorts. Just if I can.
Oh, please don't stand on that.
I'm gonna try this
Please
here.
don't.
Here we go. Look at this.
Oh God.
What is?
No,
Don't show you that.
your belly up.
What is not here, ladies and gentlemen? What is missing on this article of clothing? I will tell you what is missing. I mean, it's something that I have to deal with 5 or 6 times a day when I'm at the office. Where, if I need to use the facilities, thank you, dear, there's no zipper. There's no hole. There's no nothing. It's like, I thought, okay, this pair doesn't have a zipper. And, so I've got to, here's the deal. It's not like wearing briefs or underpants, right? If I am standing at the urinal in our office, well, not in my, right? There's a bathroom in our office, right? I can't just, as I am used to doing, as all men are, zip, yank, tug, pee. And so I go, I'm like, wait a minute, there's no zip. How do I get Dave Jr. out of his compartment? And now I've got two options. This is the absolute God's honest truth. So either I've got to pull my pants down when I'm at a urinal, which is the most weird looking thing to anybody who might come in behind me. And you don't want to, it's a urinal. You're not going to the toilet and pulling your pants down. I'm standing there. You don't want to you want to be like a human being there. And it's also difficult because these are tied tight enough so that they don't fall down. So if I've got to pull them down, it's a thing. I'm going to have to unlace the lace, loosen them, pull them down, do my business, pull them up, come on, I don't want to tie my mask. I certainly don't want to tie my pants 5 times a day. The other thing that I have to do is that these aren't like short shorts. These are men's shorts for casual, normal wear attire. So what I've got to do is actually go and somehow reach up in my leg, my left leg, pull this leg as high as I can, then go reaching and pulling and tugging and under and the thing, and it's like, oh my God, what? And I check, and of the 4 shorts that we bought, these 4 lovely new shorts from Kohl's, all 4 of them have no zipper. Or shall I say, not one of them has a zipper. So every single one of these, and remember, these come down all the way almost to my knee, right? So if I'm going to get at, the bratwurst, I literally have to go, I'm not going to, trust me, I'm not going to, but I'm like, zip, what the hell? Is it too much to ask that pant manufacturers make a zipper in male pants? Women, I understand. If they're female shorts, you don't need that.
Without the sound, it's very odd.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at myself doing that right now. I'm like Eric Andre tucking himself in.
It's very weird, like there's no context.
Even with sound, it's very weird. But like women, I would get. Women, what they should do is make shorts and maybe a little extra absorbent thing in case they're still menstruating or they still got that stuff going on down there. Men should have, I don't know, a little extra protection in front because we pee and we drip pee if we were over a certain age. But what? Who? Why? Why make pants without a zipper? Why would they do this? What, some genius, sometime between, I don't know, Levi Strauss in 1887, and now, should have thought, guys have to pee at some point. And sometimes I go, imagine you're camping somewhere and you want to go pee by a tree. You have to literally pull your pants down and expose your ass to maybe a bear that's lurking around, or maybe another kind of homosexual. But no, you and now you're out there with your bare ass exposed, just to have a whiz, and you pull your pants up.
I wonder if it said that in the ad.
What? No zipper? Mm-hmm. It's because it's hard to see. You really look for it. There's and the messed up thing. The really messed up. I'm going to show this one more time. Look at this. It looks like they make the strip of where a zipper is. Yeah. As opposed to just flat. If they'd show, it's just flat like this.
Why can't you just pull your shorts down in the front? You just pull your shorts down in the front a little.
That's the issue. That's the problem. I was saying they're so tight that I would have to undo the lace, and then I could go and then redo. I don't want to do that. I'm a lazy Jewish man. Okay, I don't want to take the time to undo.
You have to show pointing to your jingle hopper.
It took years. Even when I was a kid and I was wearing slacks all the time, I was wearing like old man pants when I was 8 years old. It's true. It's absolutely. I didn't wear jeans. I wore slacks and a business suit. I'm not business suit. Business. I just did. I felt more comfortable that way. I dressed, literally like I belonged in an accounting office when I was 9 years old. I don't. Yeah, probably was. Except Dad wore suit and tie. I didn't want to do that. But I didn't want to deal with a belt. Did not want to in any way deal with having to deal with a belt. So I walk around half the day. I'd be pulling my pants up with my hand. I'm a strange person. How was your week, dear? No, it wasn't.
No. I just don't feel well.
I know. Anywho, welcome everybody.
A lot of people are joining, I guess, showing your...
Yeah, you want to read some names?
There's a whole list of people. Okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay, hold on.
Welcome everybody. Joyce is going to read the roster of folks who have tuned in to Dave's Gone By.
Howie, John, Robert, Chris, Tag, Jerry, Will, Cherie, Iris, Ira, Anthony, Karen, Lisa, Christina, Joan, Esther, David, Peter, affectionately, Peter, Rodney, David, Kelly, Esther, Brian, Samuel, David, Linda, David, Dale, Allison, Jack,
Wow.
James, Andrew, Jeffrey or Joffrey, Kenny, another Paul, Michelle, Kamini, and Stephen.
Welcome. Thank you, babe. Thanks for
That was a lot of reading.
tracking through those, but it's great to see you all.
And I welcomed people and gave little emojis, little dancing things.
Yay. So, let me remind you that you're watching Dave's Gone By live on this Saturday, July 11th, 2020. This episode is called Is Anybody Happy? Because literally nobody I know is right now. Everybody's just...
I'm happy.
Who is?
Me.
You're happy?
I'm
You've been miserable with a headache for the past 3 days.
That's physical pain and grieving, but other than that, I'm generally happy.
I hope you all just heard that. Just, I said, you had a headache the past 3 days. Actually, that's just miserable pain and grieving. But other than that, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's,
That is the human condition. Yeah. That is life. As Samuel Beckett said or wrote in Waiting for Godot, we are born astride the grave.
Wait, David.
That should be on my t-shirt. Yeah, oh yeah. I need this. I need this right now.
Oh, Bruce going. No, it's time for your cookie.
Oh my God!
You're really slacking on the Triscuit.
I'm very sorry. It's Triscuit time. I am doing the slow eating competition in honor of Joey Chestnut and Miki Sudo. Not only winners, but Guinness World Record holders from last week's Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Championship. Here we go.
Did you mention that you yourself were a mascot for an eating festival in Greeley?
Oh, did we mention? I think I talked about that last week. I'm very, very proud that if you go, I'll tell everybody again, that if you look at Greeley museums, please do, Greeley museums in Greeley, Colorado, they're not doing much. They canceled the Stampede, they canceled the Blues Festival, nothing's happening, but they're figuring by early or late summer, early fall, things will be back to normal. And if you look at my favorite day of the year, Potato Day.
So you're famous too with eating.
In a manner of speaking, yes. Potato Day is this thing that's been going on for over 100 years in Greeley, Colorado. It's sort of what was life back then. I don't know, what was Potato Day like in the early 1900s?
It was like the same thing we had, except no electricity. So you go down there, they were roasting potatoes, and you ate one.
But what would they be like? This is what life was like here 14 years ago. Now it's all about... It was
like just a festival where you ate potatoes and drank beer and hung out.
Yeah, that's true. Well, if you go to literally the .gov, it is a .gov, right? The Greeley museums.
You just type in Greeley Potato Day 2020 and you see that. Yeah.
What you see is their mascot, unknowingly, unwittingly. Well, it's really hard to see far away, but that...
You want more?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's me. I think I asked for this. Here we go. There's a picture of me from about 3 years ago on Potato Day. Back in September, I guess, of 2017 or 18.
It must have been 19.
No, I was here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I missed last year's because I was in New York.
Oh, wow. Maybe they're calling you. And it's on the Greeley calendar, so I'll pull up the calendar.
So if you pull up the calendar for the Greeley museums, and all the museums in Greeley, you see me. You see me in a potato costume holding baked potatoes. Here we go. This is the... Oh yeah. Every time I think I want to shoot myself, I look at this
Yes. Doesn't that
and I
make
go
you
like,
happy?
it just makes me want to use a bigger gun.
And even if they cancel the Potato Day, your pictures there like forever.
That's right, ladies. Because Colorado, like some other states, is having spikes in COVID and hospitalizations. I don't know about deaths, which is the big thing, but although hospitalizations is also pretty big. But Denver is having a problem now. So if so goes Denver with the JBS plant in northern Colorado, so goes NOCO. But we'll see. We will see. What we are seeing is that it's 10:01 in the morning Eastern Time here in the Daverhood.
Wait.
What? Oh no, but wait, there's more.
There's text here.
Oh, what did they read?
They highlighted the text in the ad.
They highlighted
it? Yes.
They highlighted it. There. Look at that. Let me just show it for a moment, and then I'll read it. Here we go. The entire family will enjoy a full day of living history demonstrations, toe-tapping musical entertainment, tasty food, and kids' activities. Sink your teeth into a baked potato. No! Murder! I'm sorry, potato, it's true. With your choice of delicious toppings, it's like $7 to get in. The event is a major fundraiser of the Friends of the Greeley Museum. And there's a potato's greatest friend right there, me. I think if they do have it, we should fly in that weekend.
I think you should be like the parade leader.
I do too.
Well, it says it's September 12th at 10 a.m. Can't you why don't you just go virtually? And go virtually, like, right, you know.
I don't know if they're having sort of a live feed, YouTube, Zoomy kind of thing. It'd be cool if they did. I'd be the only one tuning in, but it would be kind of cool.
Well, I guess you can't eat a potato that way.
Oh.
Look how happy you look. It's a beautiful photo.
Yeah. Oh, it's you know, they have a guy, an official photographer there, walking around taking hundreds of pictures.
Millions.
That was one of them.
Millions of pictures.
Yeah. By the way, we don't have millions of old episodes of Dave's Gone By, but we do have hundreds of them. And we have archived virtually every single one of them. I mean, this show goes back to October of 2002 when we were on terrestrial radio on Long Island. So if you want to hear that episode, our very first one, you can go to our website, davesgoneby.com. You want to hear the fifth episode? Dave's Gone By. The 50th, davesgoneby.com. The 500th episode, davesgoneby.com. They're all there. And we've been polishing them up. We've been making sure the links work and the photos work. So all the episodes should be working fine. All 753 previous episodes, or 2 or 3 are missing because they had technical difficulties in the recording and the saving of them. But other than those, they're all there for free at davesgoneby.com. We've also been polishing up all the interviews, which are in a separate archive as well, and that we've got back now, the last 13 years, are all ready for you to just browse at your leisure.
James and Rick, Julian.
Who did? James and Rick?
Bruce, James, and Rick.
Welcome, Bruce, James, and Rick. So that's the website to go to for all your Dave's Gone By needs. By the way, if you prefer audio or podcasting, you can go to that website too, or castbox.fm. Castbox.fm. There you will find all or going back the last 13 years of our archives, audio only. Because, the past 3 years we've been doing this on Facebook, doing this as live video. But we've saved the audio of those files and all the files beforehand. Go to castbox.fm. Specifically, now people are going back to the gym. They're going out. They're going to the parks. They're going in the cars. They want podcasts. They want to look. They just want to be able to hear. Castbox.fm is the place where you can do that. Or we've also been putting our archives up at archive.org. Archive.org. It's this wonderful website of books and old-time radio and old-time TV and old movies. I mean, they're just gathering a trove of 20th and 21st century material. And we're very, very proud to be a part of that. So all of these places, archive.org, castbox.fm, and of course, davesgoneby.com, as well as YouTube. We try and put All of our stuff on YouTube. Sometimes there's a problem with our old stuff in terms of a lot of music we played has copyright issues, blah, blah, blah. Don't matter. If you Google Dave's Gone By, or if you go to davesgoneby.com, there's a ton of fun stuff for you to watch and listen to. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying watching and listening to this episode of Dave's Gone By. We've got so much to do coming up. We've got Potato News. We have our Wretched Pun of Destiny. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Rabbi Saul will be reading the newspaper. Uh-oh. I'm like Carl. I sneezed all over my arm.
You sneezed over me.
Sorry about that. Rabbi Saul reads the newspapers. Our Today-Yesterday quiz, where we ask a bunch of questions about things that happened on July 11th in history. We are also going to have our Dave's Gone Canceling segment, where we cancel a celebrity out of our culture, and our Inside Broadway segment. But before we get to all of that, I'm going to have one more nibble of Triscuit. Oh, it's not Triscuit, it's a wheat thin. There's an issue, there's a problem. It has broken in half. Judge, is that going to be a problem?
What? You have to put it on a tissue or something and not lose any of the crumbs.
Tissue? I hardly know you. What I'll do is I'll put it here for now, and once I've used up one of these pages, I will put it there. Anyway, shall we get to Greeley Crimes and Old Times, my dear?
Tim just joined.
Who did?
Tim.
Hello, Tim. Let's get to Greeley Crimes and Old Times, which is a segment that we've been doing for several years now here on Dave's Gone By. It's based on columns in the newspaper where Joyce and I used to live. The Greeley... Oh, my God! I never play our theme music. I never play our intro.
What?
Tropical Hot Dog Night. All right, now I've done it.
You just ran through it, baby.
Yeah, just completely ran through. Oh, dear. Anyway, the Greeley Tribune, local newspaper in Greeley, Colorado. Well, they do have a sense of humor there, which is very nice. And they have two columns every week that are devoted to the lighter side, in a way, of Greeley. One of them has to do with phone calls that come into the Greeley Police Department dispatch of people who are noticing something odd out there and they want the police to look into it, or they themselves are odd and the police need to look into it. That's one column called Cop Log. And then the other column is done by our friend Mike Peters, where he goes through the newspapers 100 years ago. The newspapers back in June and July of 1920. And he compiles the most nostalgic, goofiest things that were published in the local newspaper all those decades ago. And that is called Greeley 100 Years Ago. Well, we mash those two things up into a segment that we like to call Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Crimes and Old Times here on Dave's Gone By. So we're going to just do a few of them, and I'm thrilled to say that both columns are back in the paper. There was a point during the height of the pandemic, or the first height of the pandemic, when they stopped doing 100 years ago. And I guess Mike Peters wasn't getting paid, as a lot of staffers were furloughed for a bit. I think things are getting back to normal there, I hope. So we do have both columns to have fun with on Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Police responded. Oh, there they are. To a report of suspicious activity near a hotel on 7th Street. A caller reported hearing a big boom before seeing all kinds of lights near the gazebo.
Oh, I think it was nearly an abduction.
Yeah, even like when fireflies have diarrhea.
Where was this hotel?
On 7th Street, yeah.
And it had a gazebo?
Yeah. Well, what is that near where the downtown, the big, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, so don't know what it was, but
Maybe it was a techno dance party.
Could have been. A caller just 2 streets away on 9th Street was filming a video and wanted to let police know, this is actually very smart, that they would be using paintball guns as well as fake guns loaded with grapes, making a loud sound when shot.
That's crazy.
Grapes?
Jeff just joined.
Hello, Jeff. So I'm assuming they mean grape shot, because who would fill like a gun with grapes?
Maybe it's nice. Then you open your mouth and get a cold, like in Aruba, you get an ice cream.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a yeah. Well, that would be fine with me. That's just a bunch of laughs right there. All right. Don't whine about it. Oh, yes, I'm fermenting trouble here. Ladies and gentlemen, our next story, this is the happy ending story of the week. You know, and the whole point of the show is nobody's happy right now. The name of the show is Anybody Happy? But this right here is the happy ending story of the week. A caller. We need to, because that's not a police. We need a thing for a caller, like a ring or something.
Go get your Fisher Price phone.
Yeah, no, I broke the handle on the thing. A caller at a hotel on 8th Street reported someone broke into his room and stole his property.
Uh-oh.
It's like one of these low-rent
Is
hotels.
it meth?
No, I don't think meth was involved in this. What do you think was the actual thing?
I thought it was meth.
Nope.
No.
No, it was not meth-related
A
at all.
gun?
Could have
A
been.
gun? A gun?
Not gun-related, no.
Knife?
Nope.
Stump leg?
I'll read it. A caller at a hotel on 8th Street reported someone broke into his room and stole his property. He doesn't say what the property was. Well, a friend of the caller saw the caller's door was open, and he took the property to keep it from being stolen.
Oh.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that like the happy ending of the day? I like that one. No? Okay, you know what? Let's go. Let's do some old times then. We have to go out of Greeley for this one. In Northeast Texas, and I swear to you, this is the more things change, the more things remain the same news. This is 1920 we're talking about.
1920.
In Northeast Texas, the race riots are now over.
Oh.
Armed volunteers patrol the streets at night. And by the way,
Yeah.
the riots began after 2 black people were burned at the stake in downtown Paris,
God.
Texas. Right? The more things change.
Maybe that's why they say Paris is burning.
Oh, I don't. Well, isn't that like a trans drag queen thing? I don't know what that has to do with it, or because Paris didn't burn in World War II, so I don't know what that refers to. But anyway, so there. So good to know we've come so far in 100 years that there's a story about race riots that ensued when a black person was 2 black people were. I guess we have progressed. Because we're 50% better. This time only 1 black man was murdered. Right? It wasn't 2. It wasn't 2 being lynched at a time. Just 1 black guy who got his neck stepped on. We're making progress. By the year, I don't know, by June of 2022. Oh no, forget it. By June of 2120, okay, we'll get to the point where black people, they won't actually kill they'll be left half dead, but they'll survive. And that will be the next iteration. Anywho, let's do another Greeley crime. A caller was concerned. You were talking about guns before. A caller was concerned about someone showing up with guns at a nightclub in the Greeley Mall.
A nightclub?
Now, first of all, we know the Greeley Mall. The only place where people would, back in the day when we were living there, have gone with guns is a restaurant that's now closed. It was near the Greeley Mall. It was called the Roadkill Grill.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's it.
And they had a shooting there.
Maybe they meant the Olive Garden.
Yeah, right. The Roadkill Grill closed. And all you've got there, you've got Olive Garden, Trace Margaritas.
Oh, maybe, what do you call that place with the kids? Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese. I'll bet. It's in the Chuck E. Cheese, or maybe the yogurt stop. Because I would bring a gun to a yogurt stop, but with grapes in it. So this guy was concerned that somebody's going to show up with a gun at the nightclub in Greeley Mall. Police advised the caller. What do you think they advised him?
To call when the person shows up.
No, they told him, don't go to the club.
Okay.
He was so worried that somebody's going to show up with a gun.
Yeah,
Don't go to the club.
If somebody's after you with the gun, they're going to find you.
Well, I don't know if it's for him or he just has this feeling.
Like a psychic?
And here's the deal.
Yeah.
Police told him, don't go to the club that night. But he was adamant about going to the club that night.
Mm-hmm.
Explain.
Some people live on the edge.
You gotta live on the edge. You're right here. I got one more, and then I want to get to our elsewhere story, which is magnificent. Police responded to 10th Street, where a man said someone broke into his house and stole equipment from his truck.
What? How do you break into a house and steal equipment from a truck?
Again, well, he parks the truck in the living room. It's safer that way.
I guess.
However, the police found no sign of a crime, and the man admitted to coming down from using meth. Yes, meth. Greeley, Colorado, meth lab capital of the United States, my friends. Now, speaking of meth...
What's this one?
Oh, I like that one. Speaking of meth and heroin and pot and mushrooms and God knows what else, our elsewhere story, because we do one story during Greeley Crimes and Old Times that isn't in Greeley at all, that goes far afield just because it's weird, and we go all the way to Hollywood, California, and a story reported worldwide, but this particular iteration is from the Mirror from the United Kingdom. Former Hollywood heartthrob Johnny Depp. Yeah. Were you in love with Johnny? Every goddamn woman was in love with Johnny Depp.
I liked his dirty style. I thought it was nice because you didn't have to bathe all the time. He made it cool not to bathe.
How come I don't do that? Why is it?
Because you don't wear eyeliner and you're not a pirate.
Yeah. Oh, so you liked him later in the Caribbean era.
I like him more dirty Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Well, women liked him in 21 Jump Street and like Benny and June era. Every woman, they were, Johnny Depp. All right, fine. Johnny Depp. Well, Johnny Depp is now, God knows what the hell he's turned into. But he testified in British court on Tuesday that as a prank, in quotes, then wife Amber Heard may have once done what?
Violent marital rows, it says.
Well, besides that.
Amber Heard? Somebody doesn't like her.
Well, no, it's more than that. You're onto something there.
He's 57.
He accused her, he first accused her of this 2 years ago, and now he's testifying about it in court. He said that she once pooped in their bed.
Ew.
Yeah, that's what he said. The Pirates of the Caribbean actor said that the actress, or possibly one of her friends, put the feces there, and that Heard later claimed it was just, quote, a harmless prank. Depp said that the disgusting incident occurred in 2016 after a party for Amber Heard's 30th birthday in their Los Angeles penthouse. He was 2 hours late to get there. They had a terrible falling out, a big blow up after the party. Oh, sounds like she blew up, if you think about it. And then said Johnny Depp, quote, on May 12th, 2016, Ms. Heard confessed to our estate manager that leaving feces in the bed had just been a harmless prank. This, he's noting for the court, acknowledged her responsibility, whereas previously she had sought to blame our dogs.
There you go.
Yeah, and literally, you cannot make this shit up, right? Depp, however, countered this assertion by Amber Heard, saying that the poop could not have been the work of the pair's tiny Yorkshire teacup terriers.
Oh, baby. If they poop like that, they burst.
Right. He said they're way too small, first of all, to jump that high on their bed, and besides, their poo would have been much smaller than the human-sized...
they call it the defecation incident.
Yes, the defecation. Remember, Johnny Depp is testifying about this in court this past week. And although Johnny Depp and Amber Heard have been fighting viciously for years, it was that poop moment when the actor decided he wanted a divorce. Remember when I had a hernia and you had to wipe my ass?
I wouldn't divorce you.
I mean, it's like, God forbid, I was in a situation where I pooped and you just changed the sheets. We had our dogs poop on our bed one time. Several times. Anyway. And they did split up in 2017, but this was the what's the word? The inciting incident?
The straw, the tinder
Yeah.
tag.
Oh, yeah.
That broke the camel's back.
This is the slug that broke the camel's back, I'm telling you. The
I
trial...
think it's terrible she tried to blame a Yorkie.
I know.
Their poops are probably like French fries.
Exactly, like little bird things, little white and green things. Now, by the way, the trial is not about the divorce, not really even about them. It's a libel suit against a British newspaper that called Johnny Depp a wife beater. Now, Depp admitted that he has been violent in his life, and, quote, he has taken every drug known to man.
Wow.
But he vows that he has never hit a woman. Okay? However, back to the bung.
Yeah.
Depp first made the poop allegations in 2018 when he told the UK Mirror that, quote, there was strong photographic evidence that connected Amber to the feces.
What does that mean?
You cannot make... It's like he had pictures and somehow he was able to connect, not the dots, but the drops, if you will.
Disgusting.
A representative for Amber scoffed at this and blamed one of the Yorkies and said, this is just the story that keeps on giving. The dog, quote, has serious bowel control issues, said the representative. It's no joke. It's just what pets do. In a follow-up story just yesterday, this was Friday, this was in yesterday's paper, Depp admitted that after the incident, he jokingly nicknamed his wife Amber Turd. Liz and Dick have nothing on this. This is the best divorce ever. Ever.
Crazy.
And we love this stuff because two incredibly beautiful, rich people go through this. And we look at them and we go, okay, yeah, suffer. We're all suffering in our various ways. You guys put each other through whatever you want to put each other through while we work our 9-to-5 jobs. Yeah. Go have a miserable time, you guys. But wow. Doesn't get better than that. But we are going to have one more Greeley crime story. A caller reported concerns about a restaurant on 8th Avenue. He was worried.
Is it Hooters?
No, 8th Avenue. I mean, there's a lot of restaurants there. I think I know which. It had to be a certain kind of restaurant, if this is the thing. He was worried about the restaurant's fish. Not the age or the condition or the mercury in the fish that they were serving. He was worried about the fish in the restaurant's fish tank. Police advised him that this was not a police issue, unless they go back and bring back that old TV show Fish Police, which I doubt they. Maybe it was it would have to be that a Chinese place on 8th, because this Chinese place they have the koi. I guess it was maybe dirty water, maybe one or two, and they were sort of floating.
You must call animal control. I don't know.
I don't know. Animal control is not going to come out for a fish. You can.
Do you remember when I was going to my yoga instruction and there was a pit bull loose in the neighborhood, and there was it was like the Keystone Cops. There was the lady dog catcher with the hook, the catcher thing, the lasso, and a guy running after her. And the dog came near me, and they were like, "Oh, he'll bite you." And I said, "Sit." And he sat, and then they ran to him instead of walking over, and he started running again.
Oh man.
And then I said, "Sit." I can say, "Sit."
Well, but you're lucky. It was a pit bull. I would not even. I would just duck.
It's reactive.
Yeah, man. But anyway, if you are a restaurant and you do have fish in a tank, keep those fish clean, keep them healthy, because you never know, boom, bugga, boom, bad boys, what you're gonna This is what you wish. What you gonna do if they come for you, fish? Bad boys. Anywho, this is Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi-yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Crimes and Old Times, just part of the fun that we have every week here on Dave's Gone By. I want to remind myself that it's time to have another nibble. Now, this is not the whole wheat thin. The wheat thin did come in two parts. So I'm not gonna lie and say, "Oh, I'm down to this," and then sneak in this other half. No. So next part of the eating competition. There you go. Oh, look, a little heart shape for my wife. Look at that. I will try and not finish this by the end of the show, but I have made the vow that I'm going to try and have a little piece of it at least every 10 minutes, if not sooner. Just as a matter of fact, I think that segment went more than 10 minutes and I didn't have a bite. I'm going to have another bite just to make up for it. Here we go. I am following the rules. Ladies and gentlemen, as a rule, you should, if you have copying or printing or binding to do, or if you need something to help your company. So, I mean, everybody, if so many people are working from home now or changing the way they do business, they still need things done of having emblems and logos and silk screening on shirts and uniforms, or on giveaway things like pens and pencils and calendars or magnets. Hewlett Minuteman Press can help you with all of that. They are the franchise of Minuteman that is in Hewlett, Long Island, across the street from the big old Petco, and it's also right in the heart of the town of Hewlett, Long Island, about 2.5 blocks from the railroad station. They're going back to just about normal summer hours already. So they're open Monday through Friday, I think 8:30 to 5:30 for all your needs, whether you need single-sided black and white copies, color copies, copies on special paper, books printed and bound, vellum binding, whatever the hell that is. They do so much at a reasonable price, and they're great people to work with. It's the Torong family that has owned and operated the Hewlett Minuteman franchise since the mid-1970s. And if you tell them Dave sent you get 10% off any job, big or small. So give them a call, 516-569-5577. Call them on Monday. They're closed now. 516-569-5577. They are the Copy Kings. And, oh, this is exciting. Maybe we'll do this. You know what? Can you hold them up for the camera? Well, I'll go to, keep holding them up. This is exciting. This is Papito, our little baby potato, but we are going to go...
Get him in the right way.
And then, here, I'll angle him, and just hold him there. Hold him there. That's perfect. And keep holding him there, because I need to get Spudrigar Murrow ready to be on the program. This will just take me like half a minute.
I can't find where he goes, honey.
Oh, well, can you see the screen? Yeah, he's on the screen. You can look at the screen. And it's just, remember that the camera is right there. Now, oh, look at that. Look at him. Oh, he's so beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up in just a moment from now, we're going to have our return of a beloved segment on the show that we haven't done in a few weeks. But since we're talking about Potato Day before, isn't it the perfect time to have, if I can just get this on.
You want help?
No, I think I'm good. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the return of Potato News! Oh my goodness, let me see if I can get a theme song up. Yes, it's news specifically for potatoes.
Can you hold it?
This is the potato song, man. The most beautiful song in the entire world. Potatoes, you're so beautiful to me.
Oh, yes, indeed they are, ladies and gentlemen. potatoes, and this. Oh God. Do you think that'll work? Do you think that'll hold?
Yeah.
Wow! I look like I belong in a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Sorry.
All right, well, or Jesus Christ Super Stud. Here we go. Look at this. Look. Oh, I'm so proud. This is just gorgeous. Ladies and gentlemen, Potato News is news for potatoes that is brought to you by Spudward R. Murrow, our potato newsman in the field. Quite literally in the field. Oh no! I can't really move my maybe I'll put it across my here. We can do it. We can work on this. All right, I'm gonna try not to not to move much. Yeah. I have 2 master's degrees, and this is my life. Here we go. Is anybody happy? Good morning. This is Spudward R. Murrow with the potato news for today, July 11th, 2020. We go to Montgomery, Alabama for our first story.
Jimmy said, "Great, Dave." Oh,
Thank you, Jimmy.
That.
I'm not Dave. This is Spudward R. Murrow with a Time magazine story. The heiress to the Golden Flake potato chip empire is now, for now, back in control of her fortune. The Alabama Supreme Court voided a 2019 probate order for 88-year-old Joanne Bashinsky. Conservators have said that she was demented and unfit to run her vast estate. But justices said that Bashinsky's due process rights were violated because she wasn't given enough time to round up a legal team. Bashinsky is the widow of the great Sloan Bashinsky, founder, chairman, and CEO of Golden Flake Foods. Together, their estate is worth more than $200 million, especially since Utz bought Golden Flake for $140 million in 2016. Dateline, Pennsylvania, and a story from itsnicethat.com. JKR Marketing is creating a master brand for all Heinz products. It will include the Keystone shape, the well-known label typeface, and, of course, the colors. Says marketing director Johnny Spindler, our primary ambitions were to distinctively connect each element of the brand's design in new and interesting ways. He adds that Heinz is a brand for everyone, loved by everyone. We wanted to create brand unification so that no matter how or where you experience Heinz, you can celebrate its simple greatness. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's unprofessional of a newsman to cry, but that's just so beautiful. International Dateline, Canada, from the North Grenville Times. Merrickville is the home of one of Ontario's most prominent potato guys. William Bill Langenberg immigrated to Canada from the Netherlands in 1968 as part of a program to bring more farm labor to Canada. He worked at a tobacco farm before getting his degree in agriculture, specializing in cutting down the need for unnatural pesticides in growing crops. What does that have to do with potatoes? As a researcher at the college, Bill researched potato varieties and breeding. His Dutch heritage married well with the project, as potatoes were a staple in his household growing up, and he was particularly fond of the Dutch yellow potato, Bintje. As part of his research, Bill would bring different unnamed varieties of potato to his home in Kemptville to be tested at the dinner table, boiled, baked, and fried. Bill remembers. One day, a fellow researcher got in touch with Bill about testing a new variety of yellow potato similar to his beloved Bintje. Bill tested the new spud over and over in his kitchen. I loved it, he said. It has a buttery flavor and makes an excellent storage potato. I never thought of storing things in a potato, but I guess you could. But this got Bill to thinking, how do we market potatoes better than just by color, red, white, and so forth. So he gave the new spud he was testing the name Yukon Gold, named for the Yukon River and the gold rush, and its beautiful, creamy, golden flesh. Is it hot in here, or is it just me? Alas, the Potato Marketing Board botched handling the new potato, and Bill was furious when Michigan State University, which had been given seed potatoes for trials, started wrapping them up in gold foil and selling them as Michigan Gold Bakes. In 1983, Bill blew his stack at a Potato Marketing Board meeting, and all of a sudden the press was super interested in this hot new potato, the Yukon Gold. In 1987, much to the chagrin of Kempville College management, Bill began to grow and sell his own, Yukon Golds, and was marketing himself. And so he became identified with them. Note that the original Yukon Golds faded away when distribution rights were bought out. So now when you see them on the shelves, they're a mix of the actual Yukon Golds and other yellow varieties. But Bill, beloved Bill, has stayed true to his roots, literally. After leaving the college, he started an herb farm and became a local expert on horticulture. And you can legal horticulture. More importantly, he still grows Yukon Gold potatoes in his home garden, and he's happy to share them with one and all. Happy little story there from Canada. We now move, of course, to Ireland, which has its own history with potatoes. A story from the Irish Examiner. A new group of helpful viruses which tackle potato blight have been named Cork. Colin Buggamer, I could not make this up, this is his name, Colin Buggamer of Cork, Ireland, is a 31-year-old researcher who has discovered Cork Vinay. He said that these viruses can potentially control 2 diseases that wipe out potato crops. Buggamer says viruses get a bad rap, but they can also be useful.
Yeah, right.
He's looking for a virus.
Coronavirus then.
He's looking for a virus that will naturally combat Pectobacterium, which causes soft rot and blackleg in potatoes. Now, he found some Cork Vinay in soil and potato samples taken from farms in West Cork. The name Cork Vinay has been ratified by the International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses, so Mr. Buggamer is now working on a postdoctoral fellowship examining the effects of good viruses on the bacteria in our guts. Going to go to some marketing news now on Potato News from the takeout.com. Heinz has a new line of ketchup accessories. An exclusive collaboration between Heinz and Casetify that features a line of phone cases, grip stands, and UV sanitizers emblazoned with the iconic Heinz logo. The collaboration launched on June 5th, National Ketchup Day, as you all know. According to the website, you can score a ketchupy phone case for only $50. Speaking of money, it's time now for the weekly Potato drawing. Here are the numbers. 106 Croatia Fingers 88 Cubed Broth, the Leicester T. Mertz Foundation, 15. I'll read those again in case you missed them. 106 Croatia Fingers 88 Cubed Broth, the Leicester T. Mertz Foundation, and, of course, 15. So if you have those numbers, please call the station. Weather, heat and rain, rain and heat, eat your ketchup, it's a treat. This has been Spudward R. Murrow with the Potato News. Good night and good growth. You say potato, I say potato. Let's call the whole thing Potato News. Potato News, ladies and gentlemen, only, thank goodness, only on Dave's Gone By, the long-running radio podcast program of the stream. Right, well, that looks nice.
Yeah.
That looks really good.
Yeah.
I wish we could get this.
Me like you here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can probably leave that there. So we've got so much more to do on Dave's Gone By for the rest of this program. This is my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, by the way, who is helping me out here. Look, now that's a little chain-like. I kind of like it a little more random. There, isn't that pretty? Maybe a little more even on this side.
You fix it, yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see what I can do, if anything, here. See, it's backwards on the thing. Ah! Good enough. Okay, so what else are we going to do on this episode of Dave's Gone By? With me, Dave Lefkowitz. It's our 754th episode called Is Anybody Happy? You know, I guess I'm kind of happy at the moment looking like this, right? Okay. I may not be happy, but I'm certainly lit.
I don't think these work anymore.
Do they? Are they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. Coming up on Dave's Gone By, we have Inside Broadway. We've got Rabbi Saul Solomon reads the newspapers. We have our Today, Yesterday quiz. So Jeff and Cynthia, if you're there, or Cousin Mark, or any of the folks who want to play against the house, as it were, for our trivia quiz, Today, Yesterday. Dave's Gone Canceling, also coming up, and our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and our Wretched Pun of Destiny. Oh, wow, so much to do on the program, so little time. It's 20 to 11 Eastern Time here in the Daverhood. But as promised, because I've been a playwright and a theater critic and a theater journalist and an actor and a director, I do love me some theater, much as I also love eating very slowly a wheat thin. There we go. A little bit more. I don't know why they call it Triscuit. I don't know. Maybe because it looked like a basket. I have no idea. Anywho, inside Broadway we will go for news of the Rialto here on this Saturday, July 11. As I vamp. Here we go. Inside Broadway, a look at theater on and off Broadway and beyond. Brought to you by Total Theater and Performing Arts Insider. Curtain going up. Yes, Inside Broadway we go every week here in the Daverhood, because I love to talk about the theater. Not a lot to talk about on this particular Saturday morning, because Broadway's still quiet, as we mentioned last week, as it was finally announced last week. All Broadway shows, which stopped and closed back on March 12th of this year, are going to stay closed and shuttered until at least January 3rd, 2021. So the whole year, the whole season is shot in terms of Broadway and most of off-Broadway as well. I don't know about off-Broadway, and if some things are going to start creeping in after Labor Day in much smaller theaters with social distance. I know there's some theaters talking about what they're doing in other states, where they're having drive-in theater. Like, they'll hold something in the park and you can drive in your car and watch it that way. Hey, whatever works, whatever keeps things going. But certainly you're not going to be walking into the Luntfontein or the Helen Hayes or the August Wilson Theater or the Nederlander, any of them, the Neil Simon, for many more months to come, just out of safety, as the Broadway League figures out how to do this. How to get 1,200, 1,400 people in a space, sitting together, going to the bathroom, going to the bar to give the producers some more money and make it work. Make it work economically. Because, yeah, you can open up the theater and have a theater with 1,000 seats and put 200 people in it and scatter them all about, but what producer will pay for that? They can't make any money. It's a losing proposition. There've got to be enough people to make it economically worthwhile, and they also have to keep it safe. I was just flipping channels this morning, and I was watching, I think it was a rugby match on TV. And they always sweeten these things. They put in fake crowd noise for all these soccer games and these rugby matches. So they make it feel more live. And then they pan to the seats. In the soccer matches, the stands are empty. In this rugby match, there were people. There were people in the stands. But I will bet you dollars to donuts. What they did was they sold seats to a few hundred people. Oh, thank you so much.
Do you want ice in it? I
No,
have ice.
no, it's great. Thank you.
If it's not hot, if it's too cold, I mean too warm.
Oh, that's yummy.
Should I take off the hotspot?
Yeah, I guess if we don't need it, that's wonderful. Thank you. So I'm watching this rugby or soccer match, and I noticed that the stands are, like 90% empty, as they should be, but there's still clusters of people. And it's what I'm thinking is, let's say they sold seats all over the stadium to all these people, front, back, sides, etc. And then people being people said, you know what? I paid for these seats. Nobody's for rows in front of me. The seats are empty. I'm going to move down. I want to be closer to the action, whether or not there's seriously big groups of like 20, 30 people together, which is defeating the whole purpose, blah, blah, blah. So Broadway has to think through that somehow. Now, we do have some sad news, some unfortunate Broadway news, not completely unexpected. But the Broadway Tony-nominated actor Nick Cordero passed away this past week at the age of 41 after battling for weeks and weeks and weeks of the results of having coronavirus. He's the guy. He was back in April. I mean, it isn't weeks and weeks. It's just a few weeks. But back in April, they thought he had pneumonia. But he got COVID. He got it real bad. He was put into a coma. Got to the point where they amputated his leg. He was living, kind of, but they amputated his leg because they had to. And they figured, okay. Then they realized he needed a double lung transplant. That's what they first figured out like a week ago for him to be able to breathe, because that's what COVID decimates, the capacity, the ability to breathe. However, a few days before, they started telling his wife, Amanda Klutz, who was keeping everybody posted about his condition, and they said, you know what, you better start saying your goodbyes, because it's not gonna happen, to give up hope. Cordero was in the off-Broadway show The Toxic Avenger, the musical based on that. He was a Tony nominee for the Woody Allen musical Bullets Over Broadway. He was also in Waitress and Rock of Ages, and he played Sonny in the musical version of A Bronx Tale. Director Jerry Zaks called Cordero, quote, a team leader. He was the epitome of grace and decency and civility. So it's sad. I mean, you kind of knew that. Sorry, I say this is terrible, but it was sort of the Valerie Harper situation, where when Valerie Harper was dying of cancer, and it was rather protracted, and they ran out of money. She was an actress, and she was on Equity, but they don't pay for experimental treatments, and they don't do X, Y, and Z. So they asked for donations to help pay for this and that and the other thing to keep her going. And you had to wonder, well, okay, if people are donating thousands or hundreds of dollars, is that paying for a few more hours of her? How long is she really actually going to pull through? It's not like you're going to help a child with some disease. The child will suffer and maybe have some lifelong problems, but get over it and live 50 years. This was a thing like, are we throwing stuff? I know this is not politically correct to say, but I said it here back in the time that she was going. I kind of felt it for Nick Cordero as well. There was a certain point of, okay, you took his leg, he's in a coma. What, you're really going to go through the tens of thousands of dollars to replace his lungs, and what? And what, well, we can say that God spared people the decision to do this because he did pass away. And I also, and maybe this is the curmudgeon in me, and maybe it's a little jerky of me to say, but there's this petition going around on Twitter or Instagram or wherever to rename a Broadway theater for Nick Cordero, specifically the Longacre Theater, to in his honor, as an emblem of someone who really fought this virus and battled and stayed alive for a long time. And I'm like, no. I mean, when they've named a Broadway theater after Terrence McNally, who was killed early by COVID. He was killed fairly quickly by it. We don't have theaters named after like Julie Harris or Jerry Herman, who passed away a few years ago, or people still living like Nathan Lane, who have, I mean, with all due respect to the very talented Nick, yeah.
A Stritch.
Well, Elaine Stritch, I mean, she didn't do that much theater, but sure, Nick Cordero would have had a long, hopefully, healthy, theater career ahead of him if he didn't go and jump into movies, right? If he had stayed in the theater, he would have had a lot more roles, probably a lot more Tony nominations, drama desk, and become a real long-standing man of the theater. But he had a few roles, and he had one Tony nomination, and he had one terrible disease that, like anybody else, when they say he battled valiantly this disease. So, anybody who gets a disease, until you die from it, you're battling it valiantly. You're not putting up a brave fight, per se. Most of the time it's being done for you and to you by doctors. And unless you literally give up at that moment and say, I'm going to die this second, and you manage to will yourself to die, okay? You're just, I mean, it's brave. We're all brave when we're tackling something like that, but it's sort of like, what else are we going to do? The doctor says, we want to try this treatment or else you're going to die. All right, try the treatment. So much as I feel sad for his wife, Amanda Klutz, much as it's a loss for the theater, much as it's a tragedy that coronavirus has taken theater people, like my friend and colleague, William Wolfe, who died from coronavirus several weeks ago. To name a Broadway theater after this fella, as opposed to people who have put in decades. George S. Irving, why isn't there a theater named after him, for God's sakes? Why isn't there a theater named after There's a ballroom named after Hammerstein, but it's not even, I think, after Oscar Hammerstein II, who, along with Richard Rodgers, created what we know in terms of Broadway musicals. When they've done all of those folks, when they've renamed theaters that we don't even know what they're named for anymore, like Longacre and some of the others, and Marriott Marquis, well, you can't change that one, then I would say, okay, pick people like Nick Cordero. But until then, it's a little much. And I'm sorry if that's kind of politically incorrect to say. But what is absolutely righteous to say is that if you care about the theater, and if you're working in the entertainment field, you need Performing Arts Insider, the Bible of Broadway. And notice I finally picked up the new issue. Here it is. This is the July hard copy issue of Performing Arts Insider. Doesn't it look great? It is so great to hold one of these again. I kept holding the March issue for weeks after weeks because we were doing everything via PDF. Our printer wasn't doing that many hours and just doing emergency stuff, but now they're back, we're back, and our subscribers are getting this wonderful, important journal that has been around since 1944. This is where people in the industry turn when they want to know everything about every show on, off, and off Broadway. Let's page through it. Look at this. Here's page 2. There's a map of the Broadway Theater District, all the shows that were playing on Broadway back on March 11th and will hopefully come back from the hiatus. Shows that are scheduled to come to the theater in 2021 and beyond. And then we move on to the next page. All the Broadway theaters, if you're curious where they are, who owns them, how many seats they have, this is the page for you. Then we move to the next. And this is so important for people in the industry, for booking coordinators, for talk shows. This is the page that is a guide to press agents, the folks who handle every single show on Broadway. You don't just say necessarily, call, I want to get in touch with this actor. I'm going to call them on their phone or type them an email. You may not be able to find that information. You're supposed to go through these folks first. They handle the press and publicity for every show on Broadway. Here's their addresses, their email addresses and phone numbers. And then we get to what's more interesting to me in the magazine, the listings, the day-by-day calendar listings of every show on and off Broadway. And as you can see, of course, this is a very small list right now. These are all the shows that are on hiatus on Broadway, and already shows that are scheduled to open in 2021, like Plaza Suite and MJ, the Michael Jackson musical. We also have our off and off Broadway listings. In this particular issue, we've got the winners of the Drama Desk Awards, and then we get to the real heart of the magazine, comprehensive listings of every single show on, off, and off Broadway. It's extraordinary. You just pick any show, even tiny little shows in 99-seat theaters. We've got who wrote them, who directed, who the designers are, a synopsis of the show, where the theater is, what the dates are. You can't get this information in one place this succinctly anywhere else, only in Performing Arts Insider. And yes, we have been running a guide to virtual performances. No one else is doing this. If you're home, or we're certainly not going to the theater at night, and you want a guide to all the shows that you can watch, either whether you're paying for them via Netflix or Broadway HD, or if you sign up for Disney Plus to watch Hamilton, right? Or if you want to go on YouTube and find hundreds of performances of shows that were recorded years ago, or Zoom shows that are just being done now, we have a guide to virtual performances in this issue of Performing Arts Insider. You want to get this magazine. You can get a single copy, or you can subscribe for 12 monthly issues. Just go to performingartsinsider.com, performingartsinsider.com. It's an expensive journal, but it's not something you can just pick up like People Magazine on the newsstand. You gotta want it. But the people who subscribe renew again and again, and so will you. Performing Arts Insider, the Bible of Broadway. One last bit of theater news. Actually, we move off Broadway for this one. We're doing the Obie method, ladies and gentlemen. The Obie Awards have been rescheduled, and they will be happening this week. Now, the Obie Awards was founded many, many years ago by Ross Whetstone and the Village Voice magazine, or Village Voice newspaper, to honor work being done not on Broadway, but off Broadway. And it's been around for like 60-something years now. The Village Voice has folded. They're just there in name only and shepherding their archives. But the American Theater Wing took it over, and they're still having these Obie Awards. They were supposed to happen in March. Of course, didn't happen. Then they were supposed to happen in June, and the riots occurred, and they felt we're kind of off Broadway fringy, really isn't appropriate. Are doing this during riots, whatever. They've rescheduled, and now you can watch the virtual Obie Awards on July 14th. So that is happening. Today's the 11th, 12th, Tuesday night, Tuesday evening, and it's on the American Theater Wing's YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube and look for the American Theater Wing, and you can watch it. I'm sure they'll want you to donate to stuff, but it is free to watch. Comedian Cole Escola hosts. I don't really know who that is, but recorded presenters include Heidi Schreck and Cynthia Erivo. They'll also show a tape of Fela, that musical that was done about Fela Akunipalatagala, whatever his name was, and Michael R. Jackson, not Michael Jackson, but Michael R. Jackson will be doing a song from his Pulitzer-winning show, A Strange Loop. So you're going to want to watch that. It's Tuesday night for free. More people are going to know about the Obie Awards in this virtual era than probably knew it when it was happening live at Webster Hall all those years. But anyway, theater goes on. It may take until 2021. It may be going on in little squares lining your computer screen, but theater goes on. And for that, ain't Broadway grand?
It's the famous gay white way, where the night is bright as day. Ain't Broadway grand?
It's not just a thoroughfare, it's a tingle in the air. Ain't Broadway grand?
It's excitement, it's romance, it's all fun and song and dance. This wonderland, you can be a millionaire quicker here than anywhere. Ain't Broadway grand?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, ain't Broadway grand, and ain't it grand to be doing this program, Dave's Gone By, every Saturday from 9 until noon Eastern Time, or thereabouts. This is our 754th episode of the program. We're calling it Is Anybody Happy? But you know what? At least for three and a half hours a week, doing this show for you makes me a little bit happy. I hope it does the same for you all watching at home. Remember, you can contact me, Dave's Gone By at AOL.com. I'll say that again. Dave's Gone By at AOL.com is my email address. And of course, feel free to post messages during the program or all week long right here on this Dave's Gone By Facebook page. And please, please, please tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everyone that this is what we do. That every Saturday we make jokes, we get a little off color, not a lot, and we do a little bit of culture, a little music. Sometimes we have special guests on the show. It's all here, and we do it 3 hours a week on Saturday mornings, live on Facebook with the archives at davesgoneby.com. So if you miss us live, watch us there. Or you can scroll down, actually, and just watch us right here on Facebook. Give like half an hour after the show's over. The show is saved live on Facebook, which is a wonderful thing. So you don't even have to necessarily go to davesgoneby.com. You can watch the program right here. Anyway, it is 1 minute after 11 o'clock Eastern Time. We have so much more to do in the show. We've got our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming up for Dillon, Colorado. We will have Rabbi Saul Solomon reading the papers. This is exciting. We have our Today, Yesterday quiz coming up with trivia questions about July 11th in history and our Wretched Pun of Destiny. All of that to get done in an hour? Will probably take a little more time than that. But oh boy, oh joy, there is fun to be had. However, we're going to get out of fun mode for a moment. I'm going to turn off the lights. I'm going to cancel the lighting here. There it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, because this is the angry up the blood part of the show. Ooh, wait. This part is not. This is the Triscuit part of or the wheat thin part of the show, my friends. And I am eating the wheat thin. See, we're 2 hours into the program, and I've got this much cracker left. I think we're going to make this happen. Oh, what? What? I hear you say that when I did the Broadway thing, it was more than 10 minutes, and I didn't have a bite of cracker. So, yeah, that makes up for it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're in cancel culture. It is a crazy, crazy time on all sides of the political spectrum, on all sides of the entertainment spectrum, and so following years and years and years of people saying and doing things that were kind of terrible and not being called out on it, because folks were afraid or they're in positions not of power to do things. Now it's swung the opposite way. And now even the tiniest little offense, people are called to the carpet. People are losing their jobs because of a moment's, stupidity that has nothing connected to the job. Someone will say something stupid and hurtful and somebody's captured it on a cell phone, and suddenly that person loses their livelihood. It's getting a little bit crazy. As a matter of fact, this is true. I loved reading this. That woman, the Karen that is now a meme, the original Karen, who went berserk over this black guy who was telling her to please leash her dog in the park and wear a mask, and she just went off on him, and I think she used she didn't use the N-word. She called the cops on him, saying that an African American man was threatening her, and he wasn't doing any such thing, and she was shamed to the point where she lost her job. And they're considering criminal proceedings against her for filing a false, not a false arrest, what would be a false?
Slander.
Yeah, or a false police report, and so forth. And the guy, the black guy that this happened to, is saying, oh, enough. And she paid her price. She lost her job. She's been shamed all over America. Are we going to put her through the legal system for what she did? Enough. So bless him for that. But this cancel culture is just pissing me off. So 2 weeks ago, we canceled on this program because everybody has the right to be canceled, right? Everybody's got the right to say stupid stuff one time or do something that contextually back then you didn't even think about. And now it's like, oh, how could they have? And so now we have to shame them 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 decades in absentia. So 2 weeks ago, we shamed Joni Mitchell for appearing on the cover of Don Juan's Reckless Daughter in she plays characters. She plays a young boy, herself in a dress, and a black man, a pimpy-looking black man. Not the most politically correct thing to do. Meanwhile, the woman's next album was an album done with Charlie Mingus, right? A woman whose whole work in the later part of her career was influenced by black jazz, and very proud of that. And who worked with, just like, But no, we have to cancel her, because she put on blackface. And not in the context of like Eddie Cantor or Al Jolson. I mean, okay, you get where I'm going with this. But this time, oh boy. This week I found someone to cancel that should have been canceled long ago. Someone who just broke the rules of society. Someone who is showing tremendous racism. And someone who should have been called out on this and shunned from the entertainment industry long, long ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Dave's Gone Canceling. So, I repeat, last week, ladies and gentlemen, we inaugurated this new segment of the Dave's Gone By program, Dave's Gone Canceling. We here in the Daverhood feel it is important to call out cultural icons who represent the worst kinds of racism, sexism, genderism, and jingoism. It isn't enough to put questionable content into context. We must erase it, cancel it, begin a clean slate so that America can cease its unrest and rest. A week ago, or 2 weeks ago, we eviscerated musician and painter Joni Mitchell for her appropriation of Black American culture. Sure, she's one of the great pop songwriters of the 20th century, but she dressed in blackface on an album cover. Therefore, she must be banished from the cultural landscape. There's no room for shades of gray in our black versus white society. You either make politically correct art all the time, or you get called out and canceled. Which brings us to this week's offender. Someone white, someone who prides himself for upholding law and order, just like the police, and we all know how wrong they are these days. Someone who not only oppresses a Mexican who serves him, but appropriates Latinx stereotypes whenever it suits him. All of this, by the way, in the name of fun. I am, of course, talking about that cancel criminal, Quick Draw McGraw, Hanna-Barbera's white cartoon horse who serves as a sheriff in the Old West. His deputy? A little Mexican donkey with a ridiculous accent, a sombrero, and the embarrassing name Babaluy, a bastardization of the Cuban song Babalu. Granted, Babaluy is often shown to be smarter than his boss, and warning Quick Draw of impending danger, but he is still the lackey, the second banana, the comical sidekick donkey to the great white horse. To make matters worse, Quick Draw isn't satisfied with having a best friend Mexican stereotype. He himself takes on a farcical Hispanic persona when becoming El Kabong. A masked vigilante, El Kabong conquers his enemies by shouting "Ole!" and then bashing their heads in with a Spanish guitar. If you don't think that's offensive, just imagine El Kabong as a hegemonic Anglo-Saxon. He'd be named Elliot Cabson. He'd shout "4!" and whack his enemies with a golf club or a bottle of chilled white wine. To those of you who say, yes, there's something unseemly about how Mexicans were treated in that animated series, but these things were drawn 60 years ago. Why take offense now? Because cartoons are evergreen entertainment, and they're loved best by children, the most susceptible to systemic racist ideology, seeping into their post-cradle crania. Do we want our 5-year-olds watching Quick Draw McGraw and then growing up to say, hey, where's my servile donkey with a funny accent? And why is it when I hit my little brother over the head with an electric guitar, he didn't go kabong, he just bled a lot and had to be rushed to the hospital? We must protect our youth, ladies and gentlemen, and we must be offended on behalf of our brothers who are Spanish, Mexican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, Brazilian, Colombian, and all those other cultures with diarrhea food. Thing is therefore, with a corazón muy triste, that we cancel you, Quick Draw McGraw, Baba Booey to you. Your 45 cartoons shall be blotted out and erased like Daffy in Duck Amuck. Long live political correctness. El Kabai.
These days, everybody's getting cancelled. Every day I look at news, there's another new scandal. Another YouTuber who abused a younger fan, or who introduced loot boxes to kids to gamble. Whose Ku Klux Klan fan club's just been found. Fools ought to know better, they just brought about their own downfall. So now they're snuffed out of all society like candles. Cause after all, it's important that we make an example. Yo, anybody damaging morality will demo the platform. Drag them off the dance floor, kick them out the back door. And if they're asking what you do that for, then tell them, sweetie, darling, sweetie, you've been cancelled. You've been cancelled, you've been cancelled, you've been cancelled. Get to the back of the queue. You've been cancelled, you've been cancelled, you've been cancelled. Everybody's laughing at you. Rows and bars go incredibly hard. I'll name it straight like James Charles or Jeffree Star. Seducing Jeremy Kyle is terribly hard. Michael Jackson.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, cancel culture right here on Dave's Gone By, and aren't we proud? Send your letters to davesgoneby@aol.com or post them right here on our Facebook page. I knew I wouldn't get through that diarrhea line without laughing. I knew it. I felt it. I was trying. Would have been so much better if I did. But yes, the phrase was cultures with diarrhea food, my friends. Anyway, I'm Dave Lefkowitz. This is Dave's Gone By. This is my adulting t-shirt. And this is so terrible. I mean, I usually look pretty good, but when I wear t-shirts now, because of, I'm a middle-aged man and I don't eat that well, and I swear to God, it looks like I have tits. This is not man boobs. This is my rib cage poking out much, much further than my chest bone. Alas, alack. Anyway, we're not lacking anything on this episode of Dave's Gone By on this Saturday, July 11th. We still have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned to do. We also have our Wretched Pun of Destiny coming up in the show. But before, we have Rabbi Saul Solomon reads the newspapers. That's going to be fun too. But before we get to all of that, why don't we go quizzing, folks? This is a fun part of the show, and I hope some of the relatives and friends who watch the program pretty much every week and play along quite visibly on this segment, where I ask trivia questions about a date in history, and they try to be the first one to post their answers right online, so we can see them. I don't know if I don't see any, but we're going to play it anyway because it's the game. We call it our Today Yesterday quiz, and it goes a little something. Let's see if we can get it playing like this. So yeah, what did you say?
You're gonna have to scroll down on yours too.
Oh yeah. That's right. But no, I don't have a lot of postings this week. I don't have. So I'm hoping people are watching and enjoying. So play against yourselves, or feel free to type in the message first. But no fair wikiing, binging, or googling, or however else you get your information. No fair going up on your old shelves in the attic and pulling down that World Book Encyclopedia. You gotta get these out of your own noodle. And it's just trivia questions. Trivia questions all having to do with things that happened on this date in history, July 11th. So, for example, and I need, of course, our prop. Several $1,000s to create this prop for Dave's Gone By, and I thank Trader Joe's for doing that. Here we go. First question. The year 1804. Oh, you're going to like this one. Alexander Hamilton is mortally wounded today in a duel with the Vice President of the United States. And his name was
Getting a watch party. No one's commenting on it.
Well, I'm going to read the question one more time. Alexander Hamilton, the year 1804, mortally wounded today in a duel with the Vice President of the United States. Named. See if we have any answers, Potato. Do you have an answer for us?
Ask him.
Hunt? No, that's the name of a cat. Sir Kensington. It was a duel. No, it wasn't Sir Kensington. Potato. You want to try one more? Was it Lee Harvey Oswald? No, but that's as close as Potato's ever going to get. So I'm going to throw this open to the missus. Well, nobody's chiming in. So, Hun, do you want to try this one?
Was it Will Manuel Noriega?
It wasn't. No. He slaughtered Hamilton many, many years later. Who mortally wounded, I mean, he lived for a couple of days, but who mortally wounded in a duel Alexander Hamilton? It was the Vice President of the United States at the time.
Was it me? It wasn't me.
Do you want a hint? Yeah, you do.
Could be.
Ooh, it's cold in here.
Frost, Robert Frost.
No.
Hot chili, the chili peppers. Cold shivers, shivering, shivers.
Noise you make.
Chattering teeth, chatter, foreshadow these lovers.
No,
Hopping,
that's good.
hopping, foot tapping, square dancing, clown dancing.
What noise do you make? Noise to make?
Vomit.
No.
Fart. Burr. Vice President Burr.
Aaron Burr, yes. Well done.
You really have to,
What? I don't know what else I can do. All right, here we go. Time for our next question on our yesterday quiz. 1811 is the year.
Oh, Robert says hi. Hold on.
Who did? Robert who? Oh, no.
I almost wrote Robert.
Oh, Robert. 1811 is the year. Now, Robert, if you're saying hi and you're chiming in, please feel free to send a message or type right on my thing or on the watch party, and people can play against you, see if they can beat you to the answer to the question. Our second yesterday question is, from 1811, on this date, Italian scientist Amedeo Avogadro published...
You gotta also wait because there's a delay.
I know, I'm trying to, but Amedeo Avogadro published an important paper today. In it, he talked about molecules and how they affect what. So multiple choice. Is it respiration, solid matter, liquids, gases? I'll read the question again, and we have a delay, we know that, so I'll give you time to answer. But in 1811, on July 11th, Italian scientist Amedeo Avogadro published an important paper today. In it, he talked about molecules and their effect on what? Respiration, solid matter, liquids, or gases. So I'll hold up our all-important... I don't know, hold it this way for once. Just kind of... Just to be different. Just to have some visual variety here on Dave's Gone By.
Just give a little time.
Yeah, I am. What else can I remind you of? I talked to you about Hewlett Minuteman Press, the Copy Kings of Broadway. I mentioned PerformingArtsInsider.com, where you can subscribe to Performing Arts Insider magazine. What else do I have to plug? TotalTheater.com, which is a website of theater reviews. We don't get a lot of them now for obvious reasons, but if you go to TotalTheater.com, a free website of theater news and articles, you can read all our archives, of course, the backlog going back 15, 20 years, as well as a couple of reviews that we do have of Zoom shows. Of shows that you can literally go and watch on Zoom and then read the review. So, do we have any answers? Do we have any... I've got nothing here. I've got no... as far as I can see.
Quiet, baby. People are quiet today.
People are quiet.
It's very meditative. It's deep.
Okay. Well, do you want to take a shot at this one yourself? The question is, in 1811, Avogadro published an important paper talking about molecules and how they affect. Was it respiration, solids, liquids, gases? Do you want to take potato? Do you want
Say it again.
Hmm.
If you read slow.
was it Sir Kensington?
No.
No. Molecules and how do they affect something? Is it respiration, solids, liquids, or gases?
Respiration. That's probably no. I don't think so. No.
Do you want to change your answer?
No, I'll take respiration. I can fail.
It was actually
Solids.
no.
Liquids,
Look at me.
Gas.
Think of me. Of course, gases. Avogadro's law, which I guess is different from Avogadro's number, which is a club in Denver, said that equal volumes of gases, subject to the same pressure and temperature, have an equal number of molecules. He really got their number. Anywho, next question. 1905 is, now you will get this one, so don't say it out loud yet. 1905, a group of civil rights activists met in Canada to draft the Niagara Movement, which opposed the Atlanta Compromise between blacks and Southern whites, which they had previously supported. Weeks later...
Sorry.
Oh, are people answering? What's happening?
I gotta do like...
Maybe you have to reload? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, so people are taking guesses? Who guessed what?
Robert guessed respiration. Sorry, Robert.
Yay. Well, what's the first initial of his last name?
C.
Oh, from my high school. Yay. Hey, Robert. So, all right. Well, I'll start this question again.
I said sorry. Try again. Uh-oh.
What?
I gotta go over there and plug it in. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. A group of civil rights activists met in Canada to draft the Niagara Movement, which opposed the Atlanta Compromise between blacks and Southern whites, even though they had previously said it was okay. Weeks later, the leader of this coalition would buy a printing press, and he founded the Moon Illustrated Weekly, the first publication of its kind for African Americans. Name this writer and activist. I know this is a tough one, and it's not a multiple choice, so you either know it or you don't. But I'll read it again.
That's a hard one.
1905, that's what she said. A group of civil rights activists met in Canada to draft the Niagara Movement. Their leader, only a few weeks later, would buy a printing press and start up the Moon Illustrated Weekly, the first publication of its kind for African Americans. Can you name this writer, educator, and activist?
That's a hard one.
Yeah, I'll give it a little time. I'll give it a little of a floating question mark. No, it's a black and white question mark, so quite appropriate.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Can you give it a multiple choice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head?
Yeah, just make up some other names.
Okay. Was it Five-ish Finkel?
Yeah.
Was it Martin Luther King? Was it Stokely Carmichael? Was it W.E.B. Du Bois?
Ooh, you were very good at adding this, yes.
So, who was it? Was it Five-ish Finkel? Was it Martin Luther King? Was it Stokely Carmichael? Or W.E.B. Du Bois? Do you want to take a guess on this one, babe?
I will not.
Really?
No.
Oh, wow. Well, 1905. That's a long time
No,
ago.
it does give me the answer, but I'm not going to say it. I want people to guess.
Oh, yeah, I'm hoping.
No,
Any guesses? Any from Robert
no,
or anybody?
We also have a delay. This one's a hard one, babe.
Yeah, that's what she said. Okay. I'll give it a couple more seconds while I don't even know what to remind you about. Well, coming up, we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, our Wretched Pun of Destiny, and Rabbi Saul Solomon reads the papers. Don't want to miss that. I'm going to give it like 5 more seconds. Okay. And the answer is... It's all in the initials, W.E.B. Du Bois. You did know that one.
Yeah, but the time gave it away, the 19
Yeah. That's why I give the year. The year is a clue, too.
But I didn't want to answer it. I want to give people a chance, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, believe me, I'm waiting as long as I can. And I'm asking you at a certain point when I want to move on to next.
Let me check it. I have to check your website.
Oh, okay.
You keep going, honey.
1911 is the year. Oh, this is a fun one. Charles Gillette took his tennis racket and clubbed his girlfriend, Grace Brown, to death with it.
God, these are horrible.
14 years later, this murder inspired a popular novel by Theodore Dreiser. Name the novel. I know, another toughie.
You sound like David. Who knows this?
Well, if you know a bit of literature, you probably know it. It's Dreiser is known for writing 2 books. Maybe he wrote more, but there are 2 famous books by Theodore Dreiser. This is one of them. Okay? And it's got a pretty, a title that's just like, boom. It says it right there. So I'll read the question again. 1911 is the year. Charles Gillette clubbed his girlfriend to death with a tennis racket. 14 years later, this murder inspired a popular novel by Theodore Dreiser. Can you name the novel? I would make a. I would have made it a.
Hamilton?
It's not Hamilton.
No.
Is it Kensington? Enough for the Kensington potato.
No, we don't have answers.
No, actually, well, the thing is, I won't do a multiple choice on this one just because the title is kind of on the nose and would give it away. So, nope. I'll give it another second or two. I'll give it our countdown. Do you want to take a stab on this one, babe?
Mm-mm.
Well, Theodore Dreiser is best known for writing 2 books. One of which was Sister Carrie, but this is not Sister Carrie. This is the other one called, appropriately enough, An American Tragedy.
Ooh, that's a good name.
Which is based on the American Tragedy. The guy clubbing his and he made quite a racket when he did it. Well, she was always high strung. Yeah, I guess he didn't love her enough. Yeah, okay. Anyway, we move on to our next question in our quiz. 1960 is the year. To Kill a Mockingbird is the book. It was published today, back in 1960. So that means it's now, 60 years old, yeah? Happy day. J.B. Lippincott was the publisher of To Kill a Mockingbird. It was Harper Lee's only novel, except for an early version of Mockingbird that saw the light of day in 2015, the year before Harper Lee died. Name this other novel whose title is based on a passage from Isaiah. Okay? Now, if you were watching the news a couple of years ago, it was all over the news. It was a great big deal. Found this other novel and got the rights to actually publish it. What was the name? It was actually a bestseller, I think, for a few weeks, even though critics ultimately said you can see the blueprint for To Kill a Mockingbird, but it's not nearly as good. It's got Agatha Finch in it and all the characters. What was the name of this other Harper Lee novel? I should play the Elmer Bernstein theme. Not quite the exact notes, but I have the cadence down. Do we have any answers on that one?
I'm checking your regular. Neither.
No? I'll give a little bit of a hint there. It's like, Did we all get that? I'll do that again. It's like, okay. No? Nobody? Oh, well. Well, I can give the answer. Hun, do you want to take one on this? What was the name of the book? It came out about 4 years ago.
Genesis.
Was it not Genesis?
Exodus.
That is biblical,
Yeah.
but it's based on a passage in Isaiah. Harper Lee's book, her prequel, if you will, unintended, to Kill a Mockingbird, was called and I did this. It's kind of a clue. Go Set a Watchman. Go Set a Watchman was the name of it, based on a passage that read, Go set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. From Isaiah. Ah!
This is a hard quiz.
We're just rolling through these. Here we go.
I
Okay.
have to sit over here because of the
I know.
power.
I know. On this date in 1967, a few years before his successful solo career, on July 11th, this musician left the New Christy Minstrels to form the first edition. Name him.
The new edition?
Well, the first edition. Speaking of first edition, To Kill a Mockingbird, the first edition of To Kill a Mockingbird was published today, back in 1960, but in 1967, this musician decided to leave the New Christy Minstrels and join a band, or help form a band called The First Edition. Can you name him? Really? I'm singing a song, but that would kind of give it away. So, So do we have any? Oh my gosh, I'm drinking all this and I'm not eating enough. It's cracker time. And that because I'm a white guy talking. So do we have? I'll read the question one more time. I'm surprised we don't have an answer on this one. July 11th, 1967 was the year when this musician, a few years before he went successfully solo, he left the New Christy Minstrels and formed the First Edition. And I'll give you a hint. By October, they had their first hit single just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in.
That's very confusing.
Yeah, just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in.
What?
That's the name of the song.
These are very hard today.
It was their first hit. Well, let me... this performer, I'll even give you a further hint, ended up having more success, much more success than with the First Edition, because he kind of gravitated more towards country than pop. Can we get an answer from somebody? Anybody out there? Potato, do you have an answer? And don't say Sir Kensington.
None maybe.
Mrs. Kensington? No, it's not
Mrs. Kensington.
Oh,
Good,
Potato.
that was good.
It's getting better. Yeah.
He understands like difference now. That's good.
Well.
Was it Iggy Pop?
No, it wasn't Iggy Pop. He left the Stooges to go out on his own.
Was it Joey Fat One? Joey Fatone?
No, these are good answers, but this is going back like 2 decades before that era.
Oh, Mick Jagger.
No.
Oh,
I will give you a hint.
oh.
I'm going to give you a visual hint.
Okay.
Like,
oh, was a baby seal being born?
no, I like that though.
A baby walrus?
What am I doing to my face?
You're squinting? You're pulling? Pull? Bill Pullman?
Yes,
Pull-ups? Wearing pull-up diapers?
yes, I am, but what else?
Lifting? Facelift? Lift?
Yeah, okay.
Lift?
Well, no, not the word itself.
Up? Lift? Up,
And
down?
someone who actually, kind of sad, this person died fairly recently. It was not that long ago. No? And not only did he form the First Edition, but for most of their career, he put his name before the First Edition. So it was him and
I don't
the
know.
First Edition.
Ted Koppel.
Another famous song that they did was Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town.
Ruby, don't take your... Kenny Rogers did that.
Yes, he did.
Kenny Rogers?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. It was Kenny Rogers in the First Edition.
The Gambler. Like.
Well, he's been, I wasn't going to say the Gambler, but he did that. That was when he went solo. That was in the mid-70s.
He also
left.
had a chain on the Upper West Side of like chicken restaurants. They had salmonella. He had to close it or something.
Oh dear. But yeah, and also we had to get used to the way Kenny Rogers looked for the last 10 years of his life because he did that.
Had surgery.
Yeah, and it's funny how he got used to it He looks so freaky for so
A
long.
lot of people. That Jocelyn, what is it, Wildenstein or something?
Well, no, she, that's a horror. But even Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
After a while, you kind of got used to, oh, that's how Joan Rivers looks. It's weird. But anyway, yes, it was Kenny Rogers who formed the first edition, which was not even his second band. He'd been in one or two before then. And then he stayed with them for a few years, moved out of psychedelic rock and more into country music. Okay, we got two more questions, and we will end our Today Yesterday quiz, not soon enough. Here we have 1969 is the year. Tumultuous year in the world. Just days, oh, okay, don't shout this one out. You'll get this one. Just days before Apollo 11 would land on the moon,
Yeah.
David Bowie released this hit single about an astronaut coming untethered.
Oh, I like that. Was it Sex Machine?
Was not Sex Machine. That was James Brown Bowie.
Oh.
Was it Mrs. Kensington, you have a lovely daughter? No, that was Herman's Hermits Potato.
Was it
But
Hot Potato?
wasn't hot. Unfortunately, it was not Hot Potato. I'll read the question again. 1969 was the year. July 11th was the day, and it was only days before Apollo 11 would land on the moon. David Bowie released this hit single about an astronaut coming untethered. If you know the answer, please type it to me on my page or type it on the page that Joyce is looking at from our watch party. Yeah, people are watching. I don't know why you're not physically playing
These are
along.
hard. I find them hard. I'm an idiot.
Well, you know this one, don't
Yeah.
you? What? That's not the name of the song, though. You've got the right song, but not the right title. That's the thing. No fair. Just well, I'll give you half credit. At this point, I'll give anybody half credit. But
These are hard ones. People are stunned.
you know, okay, that kind of well. But anyway, yes, the song that you were singing is the correct song, and that character is correct, but it's not the name of the song. I will say that in America, when they released the song, they put it on an album, and they called the album the same title as the song as well, from David Bowie, about the astronaut singing in a tin can, almost.
Space Can? Space Jam? Space Fever?
Joyce has the first word correct.
Oh, Spaceman.
No, it's not Spaceman. It's not Neil Innes' Urban Spaceman. No, it's Space.
Oh, Odyssey. Odyssey?
Yes, but a play on that.
Space Odysseus?
No, a space.
Adventure?
What am I?
Happy? Space Happy. Space Human.
No, you're so close with the other word. You had it.
Space Happy?
No,
Space
you had Odyssey,
Odyssey.
but not an Odyssey.
Idiocy.
Thank you. Yes,
Adventure?
Space Oddity. That was the name of the song,
That's
Space
a stupid
Oddity.
name, David Bowie.
I guess it came out after Kubrick's film, and maybe it was a play on 2001: Space. Anyway, oh dear God, one more question in our yesterday quiz. And by the way, it's easy for me because I've got the answers in front of me. It's like Alex Trebek looks like the smartest man in the world.
And you wrote the question.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if somebody was throwing these at me, I would have gotten maybe half of these, maybe. 1985 is the year. This was a sports question. This former New York Met struck out New York Met Danny Heap to notch his 4,000th career strikeout. This pitcher would eventually log 5,714 KOs, still the record by a wide margin. So name this pitcher who is also still the all-time leader in no-hitters. Who are we talking about? So give it a moment. So baseball is supposedly coming back in a week or two
Really?
in some fashion, if they don't all get COVID.
Didn't a whole bunch of basketball players get COVID?
Yeah, baseball players too.
Yeah.
It's rampant.
So, I mean, like, do you
But
wanna-
hockey's coming back,
I
you
mean,
know,
would you want to play on a team? They all touch each other.
in a special way.
No, I mean, don't they? You said, like, football's contact, and baseball, do they have contact?
I don't know. Maybe it's the herd thing. Maybe some of them had. If they were going to get it, they either got it already or they're living with it.
Or can they make the field wider?
No, it's going to be or however many feet. around the diamond.
So you have to touch the person with the baseball.
Yeah, I don't know if they have any rules of like you can't tag someone out or because lean down over first base and I don't know. You can't celebrate if someone hits a grand slam and everybody goes like jumping together in a pile.
And pour the ice over people. But...
Yeah, you can do. You're behind them. You can pour instead of Kool-Aid or Gatorade. They just pour hand sanitizer over the coach.
Like that.
A bucket of sanitizer.
Let me check the other one.
Any answers to the quiz? I'll write it one more time. Former New York Met struck out a New York Met, Danny Heap, to notch his 4,000th career strikeout on this date in 1985. This pitcher would eventually have 5,714 KOs, which remains the major league record. Name the pitcher who was also the all-time leader in no-hitters. So, hon, you want to take a...
Sammy Sosa.
No, but wow, okay.
I don't know
how many ball players you know.
No, that's it.
Only
the good-looking ones, that's it.
Oh, Sammy Sosa good-looking?
I like Sammy.
I don't even know how I can give a clue on this one. No, I'm blanking on clues. He is considered one of, if not the greatest pitcher of all time. Anybody, anything?
No.
Well, the answer, I'll play Take Me Out to the Bowl Game to take us out of this quiz today.
Okay.
The answer is Nolan Ryan.
Oh.
Yeah, Nolan Ryan.
That's a hard one to give.
Most strikeouts ever and most no-hitters ever.
That's a hard one to give a clue. You're right, honey.
And so typical of the Mets, they had him and then let him go. So that concludes our yesterday trivia quiz for today, July 11th, 2020.
That was
Here.
a hard one.
I know, it was difficult.
You gotta make a quiz for people like me who don't know stuff.
No, you know stuff. It's trivia. Trivia is not terribly important. That's why they call it trivia. Hope, even if you're not physically playing along with us, I hope you're enjoying the show. Everybody who is watching Dave's Gone By on this Saturday morning, right here on our Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. Remember, we've got the archive page, davesgoneby.com. If you miss all or part of our shows or want to go back and watch shows from months or years ago.
Because Robert got one question right.
Yeah, Robert. Yeah, go Robert. Well done. Well done. Hey, what else we're going to do on this episode of the show? Well, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, our Wretched Pun of Destiny, our friends of the Daverhood, and Rabbi Saul Solomon will be reading the newspapers for you. This is going to be a very exciting thing. He did it once a couple of weeks ago. It was a lot of fun, so we're going to have him do it again. What else what's going to give me time also to go to the bathroom? Because I can't really do that. Let's see. Maybe. Let's do. I know. We'll do our. Let's do our Friends of the Daverhood. This is a segment that we like to do where we check in on what friends of the show have been doing. Friends of the show are folks who have appeared as guests on Dave's Gone By over the years. We consider them friends. We consider them something like family. And so it's gives us what Rabbi Saul Solomon would call nachas to see that, when they were on our show, they were in this show off Broadway. They were writing this book. They were in this movie. Now, it's a couple of years later, they're doing something else really creative and cool. We call those the Friends of the Daverhood. I am eating the... Oh, it's getting stale now. Oh, dear. Ooh, look at this. Oh, I'm took a big piece right there. I may not win this challenge. Anyway, our friends of the neighborhood for this Saturday morning. So let's see how they're doing. Congratulations, by the way, to Jeff Harner, our cabaret singer guy, for all the people that they could have put on the cover of a new book called So You Want to Sing Cabaret by David Sabella and Sue Mitsuki. They chose the picture of Jeff Harner that is on the cover. So you can only check out that book, So You Want to Sing Cabaret. Carol Channing, well, she's dead. She's not doing anything, but her last 2 albums are being re-released digitally. One album is called For Heaven's Sake, and it's full of gospel and spirituals, including Old-Time Religion, I'm Just an Old Chunk of Coal, and of course, everybody knows this very religious spiritual song, Modesto, My Hometown. Meanwhile, she has another album that they're also re-releasing called True to the Red, White, and Blue. It's all about patriotic and American songs that were released right around July 4th. Those songs include Don't Sit Under the Apple Tree, big popular hit during World War II, Battle Hymn of the Republic, and a song that should have gone on the other album, Amazing Grace. Not sure how they're picking these, but they've been released digitally by Time Life. So you can get For Heaven's Sake and True to the Red, White, and Blue by Carol Channing. Let's face it, at last you can replace those old worn-out CDs that you've just played over and over on those. Thank you to Time Life. Michelle LaRue tonight is doing her solo show, The Apple Tree, for free online for the Metropolitan Playhouse. It's metropolitanplayhouse.org sponsoring. And then also tonight, yes, Jorma Kaukonen is still at it. He and Jack Cassidy are doing an acoustic hot tuna set, so maybe they got the whole band, at the Fur Peace Ranch, where I guess Kaukonen lives. Week after week, he's been doing these solo acoustic concerts, but now he's got acoustic hot tuna with him. It is tonight for free, live on the YouTube channel of Fur Peace Ranch. Edward Einhorn, our playwright friend, his show Performance for One has been doing Skype performances, and those are happening from today and still tomorrow. It ends tomorrow. Go to untitledtheater.com, and that's theater with an ER, untitledtheater.com. And on July 14th, I believe that is Tuesday, remember, let's wait, today's 11th, 12th, yeah, July 14th, Tuesday, and a bunch of friends of the Daverhood, Ann Hampton Calloway, Alice Ripley, Adam Pascal, Beth Malone, and Ann Harada. I don't know if we've ever had that many friends of the Daverhood involved in one project, but they are part of Night of 1,000 Judies to support the Ali Forney Center, which supports homeless LGBTQ youth. If you want to watch it, it's 1,000 Judies, Judys, 1000judies.com. We'll let you know that Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano, they're still doing these duets that they post on YouTube, on their YouTube page. Evan Seplow is the founder and editor of StageBuddy.com, that is still posting stories about New York nightlife, but New York nightlife during COVID. Who else? We've got Stuart Brown and his SoundsOfBroadway.com musical website, 24 hours of show tunes, SoundsOfBroadway.com. Dr. Demento still doing new Dr. Demento shows and archiving the old ones at drdemento.com. And, of course, you can hear all about upstate New York history by going to Bob Cudmore's podcasts at bobcudmore.com. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Next voice you hear will be very Jewish. It will be that of the great Rabbi Saul Solomon. Shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And a lot of times on this program, I would be doing these rabbinical reflections about, there's mini sermons about life in general. Nah, I don't want to do that today. I'm too tired. I'm too depressed about everything. No, I'm not going to do it. And I'm not interviewing anybody because I'm sick of people. They can all go to hell. I am instead having a little bit of joy in my life by reading the newspaper. You know, during the newspaper strike, Fiorello LaGuardia, the mayor of New York, would get on the radio and he would read the papers and he would read the funny pages to children and adults who were listening to him on the radio. So this is the new version of radio. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to read the paper for you, not just any newspaper, my friends, but I am going to dip into oh yes, the Five Towns Jewish Times, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I live personally in Great Neck, but I come out specifically to the Five Towns of Long Island to read this paper, which serves Brooklyn, Nassau County, Queens, Manhattan, Bronx, Staten Island, Muncie, of course, Toms River, and South Florida, where they're all dying of COVID. The Five Towns Jewish Times, my friends. I purposely selected a few special things to share with you in the paper. For example, I'll save that one. Hold on. Here's something special to save. Another thing. Should put them in order before. Here we go. Here we go. You know, when you're cooking, ladies and gentlemen, when you're making a tzimmus, if you're doing a corned beef deckle, you're going to need spice. You're going to need to put something on there, or else it's going to be, bland like your grandma's boiled chicken. That's when you need this special spice. Let me put this up there. How come that doesn't? There we go. But notice, this spice is called Shabbos. Get it? And when I first saw this, I thought, oh my God, they've actually named a spice mix. You can't see it? I'll put it closer. There you go. Now you got to tell me you can see this. It's called Shabbos.
No, you're holding the other one. Oh, that's good. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. From
heaven to our table, Shabbos Spice Blend is curated over a 7-day period.
How much is it?
Well, here's the joke, of course. It is not an actual spice that they are purposely. The idea is they do a Daf Yomi page. It's learning Torah with them, and that is putting spice in your life. Get it? So you should have
representation, Rabbi.
I know, isn't that? It's false advertising. And I'm going to eat this just for that. I'm going to eat a little piece of this unkosher biscuit. What about the crock pot?
Just when you got your crock pot.
Now let's do something else wonderful in this particular paper, which is So this paper is all about Jewish life in the Long Island Five Towns community. So there are articles that are secular and some articles that are more religious. But I'm sure you have asked yourself, as have I, about God. How real is God? How deep is he in our lives? Is he kind of floating up there, just barely looking at us, or is he taking a deep interest? Every time we say a prayer, he actively tunes in and listens. Well, according to this writer, Dr. Gila Jedwab, and by the way, she's a DMD, whatever the hell that is. She's a doctor of something. But Dr. Gila Jedwab says, not only is God important, not only is God real, but God is so real, we can smell him.
Oh, God.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Oh, God. So real, we can smell him. What?
COVID test?
It makes me wonder what.
Let me see it. We can't see it, Rabbi.
Well, I held it up just for a minute. Remember, you're on delay there. And this article, by the way, is like 3,000 words. It just goes on, and it takes like 5 pages till she finally gets to what the hell she's talking about. And I still don't know what the hell she's talking about. To me, God God basically smells like onions and pickles.
Oh.
And that's on a good day.
You said he smells like Romanian tenderloin.
I'm a believer in that. When God is in a loving mood, when you've been a good person, he smells like Romanian tenderloin, as Dave's wife Joyce just said. When he's in a nasty mood, oh boy.
You know what you smell like?
What?
Sauerkraut.
Oh, sauerkraut and the homeless. That's what he smells like. But he's so real. He's so close. So real, we can smell him.
What's DMD stand for?
I have no friggin' clue what a DMD is. Let's move on to other things in the paper. Oh, before we do that, we do have an advertisement that we want to share with you. You know, when people make fun of Jews, one of the things that they make fun of, yes, they make fun of the face, the nose, the being cheap and all that, and they make fun of our names, because we sometimes have crazy, ridiculous names. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a dentist. This is a real thing right here. You know that you want to go have your mouth looked at by Shuli Blobstein, DMD. Wait a minute, DMD, it's a dentist.
Oh, so why is the dentist writing about smell?
So a competing dentist has been writing about the smell of God. Maybe that is not a person you want your teeth checked by. And forgive the grammar on that. But ladies and gentlemen, behold, Shuli Blobstein, dentist, and not perhaps the greatest command of English. So fun that if your camp plans fell through, you can count us as a backup.
Wow.
Now, let's not get into tense usage here.
What children want to go right from summer camp to get their teeth filled?
Because it's fun. It's a fun kind of drilling, ladies and gentlemen. It's
buy that.
a joyful pain. It's, you know, what could be more fun than opening your mouth really wide so that a Novocaine needle goes in and. But you love it when Shuli Blobstein does it. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, she has a new patient promotion. $175 includes exam, cleaning, fluoride, and including x-rays. So you'll find her on Rockaway Avenue, and they're following strict protocols as per CDC guidelines. So Shuli Blobstein, ladies and gentlemen, for all your oral needs. Yes. I'm not going to go there. Get your minds out of the gutter, goddammit. What else do I want to tell you? Oh, you know, ladies and gentlemen, in my mind, I have imagined Aaron Teitelbaum, conductor of an orchestra that does...
Rabbi, is he in your synagogue?
Well, one of the friends of the Daverhood, someone that Dave, who hosts this show, grew up with, is named Teitelbaum. But it's not this person. This is Aaron Teitelbaum. And I have imagined him conducting, leading the band at bar mitzvahs and weddings and brisses. But no, ladies and gentlemen, it's not right at this point to imagine Aaron Teitelbaum. It's time to reimagine him. Yes, he's Aaron Teitelbaum reimagined. I don't know I have no clue. I mean, does he play a different instrument now?
Rabbi, you look very handsome today.
Oh, well, thank you. Has he swapped his saxophone for an ocarina? How do you reimagine a bar mitzvah orchestra? What are they doing?
I think you had a tambourine.
You could. You might.
Some techno music.
Oh, I've done that. We have a couple more pages in, of course, our 5 Towns Jewish Times to share with you, ladies and gentlemen. And advertising is so important. You know, you can't have a newspaper, as so many newspapers have found out, when people stop advertising. What do you want at your bar mitzvah, bris, or christening, or quinceañera? Or what are you going to need after spending 45 minutes in the chair with Shelley Blobstein? You are going to need, or Shuli Blobstein. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they're alcohol cocktail pops. The only way to get through the times we're living in, my friends. Introducing, made by Elegant Desserts New York, shipped to your door in 90-degree heat. So it's basically just going to be some wooden sticks in a puddle. And let's share the flavors of this.
How much are they, Rabbi?
You get $5 off when you use the code 5TJT. and free shipping on orders over $100.
Not bad.
But you have to be 21 or over in order to eat pina colada, cream rosé sorbet, screwdriver sorbet, which is ridiculous because no Jew knows how to use a screwdriver, maple pecan bourbon ice cream. I got that one. Sangria sorbet, white Russian ice cream, blueberry champagne sorbet, strawberry daiquiri sorbet, and green apple martini sorbet.
Your mom would like that one.
That's right, yeah. Actually, she would there. Alcohol cocktail pops, my friends. Get them, You come out of the
What's the name of
dentist.
the company, Rabbi?
Sure, it's elegantdessertsny.com. Shipped to your door. Or they just hand it to you while you're
They're
driving.
in Brooklyn. They're not in New York.
Well, okay. Well, they ship anywhere. It doesn't matter where they are. And finally, my friends, and by the way, this bothers me. This should be canceled right here, since Dave is talking so much about cancel
They
culture.
have churros, too.
Yeah.
And all kind of ice cream. They look
Churros ice cream, okay.
Pure sorbet lollipops. Let's get some.
Okay, yeah, as long as they're not alcohol, yeah.
Some are. Then we could get like many elegant assorted cream flavors.
Oh, I would try that.
$57. It's expensive.
How much?
57 for 20.
Oh, well, yeah.
It has
Free shipping.
cookies and cream, razzle,
Razzle.
strawberry shortcake, and lotus.
Wait a minute. What?
Lactose, dairy,
Whoa. Lotus?
and lactose and dairy free.
Okay, this is good to know. What the hell is lotus?
I don't know what lotus is.
Would you eat a lotus pop?
Well, they have a lemon one, Rabbi. That looks good.
Lemon, all right. Lemon, I get. Cookies and cream.
This one is chocolate puree, strawberry puree, sorbet, mango, lemon, and green apple.
All right. Oh, anywho, I just want to just show that we are woke on this program, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this, celebrating us, our resilience, our endurance. Okay, look who is doing this. The White Shul 98th anniversary, virtual, of course, distancing. It happened on Tuesday, July 7th. There it is. The White Shul. Should they, at this point, be allowed to call it a white shul? I am offended by this. I think they should call it the multicolored shul. They might call it the omni-ethnic shul. Maybe just be so open, call it the church shul. And that includes everybody. The church shul mosque, 98th anniversary. And then everybody will be happy and we don't have to cancel them. But that just bothersome, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, I want to let you know, this bothers me too, almost as much, perhaps more. As you can see, Rabbi Sal loves an egg cream. He loves the seltzer and the milk and the chocolate. Well, you like milk and chocolate together. You're gonna love this stuff right here. Let's pull that up if I can. Thank you. Look. Bethel A2A2 whole chocolate milk. Nummy, what's better than chocolate milk? So refreshing, so nice. It's got a finger pointing to it, which means, and they say, here's the tagline, the only kosher chocolate milk made with only 3 ingredients. Right? Only 3 ingredients in chocolate milk. And this is what bothers me, my friends. What is the third ingredient?
What is it?
It's chocolate milk, right? So there's chocolate, and there's milk. What is the third ingredient?
Shame.
What is supposed to be? She says shame. What are they supposed to? It doesn't tell you on the goddamn bottle. It says, the thing is pointing, oh, look, only 3 ingredients, and we don't tell you what they are. I can guess 2. 2 are obvious. Milk, chocolate. So is the third ingredient, oh, I don't know, arsenic? Is it some guar gum preservative concoction that's going to give me cancer next year? So, you're so proud. Only 3 ingredients. There should only be 2. It's chocolate milk. You put chocolate, you put fucking milk in it. If you add seltzer, it's like, I'm so angry. You put seltzer in it, okay, it's an egg cream. You put an egg in it, okay, it's a disgusting egg cream. You put, what else the hell can you put? You can put vanilla syrup and extra syrup in there. You make it super sweet. Still an ice cream, still fine, still good. Still chocolate milk. Okay, fine. What You're so proud. Only 3 ingredients. What is the third goddamn ingredient of this milk? Now I'm out of sorts. This is going to ruin my weekend now. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been reading the 5 Towns Jewish News, or the 5TJT, for those of you who like acronyms. And you know I don't. So, my friends, I feel better now. I feel much better because a Jewish newspaper is always going to close with something horrible. Last page of the paper, Cancer Research Center in the United States. So gotta mention the Holocaust, gotta mention cancer, and at least they did that much. So it has been, well, until the chocolate milk thing just destroyed me, threw me for a loop. Until then, it was delightful reading the newspaper with you. I am Rabbi Sal Solomon. Please look for me online at shalomdammit.com, shalomdammit.com. This is a place where you can read my rabbinical reflections, my mini sermons. It is also a wonderful place where you can watch the TV show that I did on Long Island Television a decade ago. You can also see my stage show, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Me, when it was recorded off Broadway a few years back. And of course, if you want to put me on a stage when there are stages again, contact me, shalomdammit@aol.com. Shalomdammit@aol.com. This is Rabbi Sal Solomon wishing you staying healthy, staying COVID-free, eating lots of... Whoa. What is... Huh. It's God! He's so real. I can smell him. And he needs some deodorant. Oh, I do love me some Rabbi Sal Solomon, mainly because his music gives me time to pee. But I'm Dave Lefkowitz, and we're doing the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream live on this Saturday, July 11th, 2020. It is our 754th episode of the show. It's called, Is Anybody Happy? And, of course, the rare times in my life when I am happy is when I'm doing this program for all of you. Reminding you, you can contact me, which is davesgoneby@aol.com, DAVESGONEBY, davesgoneby@aol.com, or just leave messages for me right here on our Facebook page, which is the Dave's Gone By Facebook page. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies that we are here, but we're not leaving yet. I know it's 10 after 12. We're supposed to be off the air 10 minutes ago, but we got other stuff to do. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned to do. And, of course, our Wretched Pun of Destiny that we are now going to get to as we speak. Now, let me explain what the Wretched Pun of Destiny is. This is where I tell a short little story that is capped by A play on words, so awful, so wretched, so egregious that you just sit there like, it should forget, banning gatherings and things for COVID. These puns should be banned for health department reasons. They're wretched puns of destiny, and this one has to do with an icon, an actual icon. There's no way of further avoiding it. Let us have our pun.
The day was gone by, wretched pun of destiny.
The Jews had been wandering in the desert for years, getting increasingly restive. Finally, Aaron says to Moses, "We're due for a mutiny unless God gives us a sign that the Jewish tribes will not only survive, but thrive in the future." Moses then went to God and said, "Please, Lord, can you send an emissary from the 20th century, someone powerful and talented and an icon for the Jewish people of their time?" "No problem," says God, who Moses could smell. "Behold, a cloud of smoke appears, and when it clears, the children of Israel see a red and white striped pole, and next to it, a little Jewish man with a pair of scissors. Suddenly, the man puts the scissors down, grabs a club, and starts hitting the sand with it over and over. Moses drops to his knees. "Thank you, Lord, thank you." Aaron, confused, whispers to him, "This is the sign? This is the beloved icon?" "Absolutely," says Moses. "Can't you see? It's Barber Strike Sand."
We here at Dave's Gone By apologize for bringing you the wretched pun of destiny.
Yeah, we can't apologize enough for that. My wife was literally moaning in the background. First time in years I make her moan, but you were not impressed with that wretched pun of destiny?
It affected me thusly.
Just it affected me thusly in her best biblical language. Well, we've done so much on this episode of the show, haven't we? Oh my goodness. I've almost forgotten. Look at that. I've got this much left, and I'm going to be reckless. Look at it. And still, will he make it? Ladies and gentlemen, well, we've done so much. We've done Greeley Crimes and Old Times. We went inside Broadway. We did our cancel culture for Quick Draw McGraw. We talked about COVID a bit. We did our yesterday quiz to crickets. We had Rabbi Saul reading the papers, and we had our wretched pun of destiny, and we even had potato news. We crammed so much into just over 3 hours. I guess it's time. I guess we're done. I guess I can just lean back and relax and show you the undershirt under my shirt when I do like this. But are we good, babe? Are we?
No, there's always something more.
There's just something more. What could it possibly? Oh, I showed you my toothbrush. How that works on my head. We had the eating competition stuff again, and we talked so much. It's almost poetic how we. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I did not forget. It is our weekly Colorado Limerick of the Damned. This is where we go to a place in Colorado where Joyce and I lived for a bunch of years. And I started writing a 5-line poem about all these different places in Colorado, from the most famous places like Denver and Fort Collins and Vail, to places you or I have never heard of, each one of them deserving of a poem. We've got well over 100 now. And so we do one of them a week. And since they're limericks, they tend to be naughty and oh boy, this one is like, some of them are PG rated. Some of them are R, some are NC-17. This is XXX with an exclamation point. Just warning you, throw the kids out of the room if you haven't already, or I'll come over and throw them out for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Today's Colorado Limerick of the Damned goes all the way to Dillon, Colorado. Dillon, Colorado.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Rocky Mountain, Colorado, 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 Colorado.
And yes, this one is dirty, dirty. I do honestly warn you about that. It's our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Dillon, Colorado. Let me tell you a little bit about the town. Or as they put on the town's website, quote, a little town that's big on fun. Makes me want to nuke it right there, don't it? But it's named after a prospector back in the 1880s named Tom Dillon, not spelled like Bob, but more like Matt Dillon of TV of yore. It's in central Colorado. About 900 people live in there, near a bunch of rivers. So it's actually known for boating and fishing through the nice parts of the year. However, it's nearly 2 miles above sea level, so it also gets really cold winters and a lot of snow. And it's interesting. It's not like where we were living in more temperate northern Colorado. In the 1950s, Denver Water went to Dillon, Colorado, and said, hey, we're building a dam here. We're going to flood you out unless you move. So basically, the whole town had to pick up and move a mile inland. And they did. They moved a mile upriver, away from the rivers that they have there in Dillon. These days, it's, again, one of those lovely little nondescript but beautiful towns in Colorado that's known for its atmosphere, as well as they've got a Dillon Amphitheater for big concerts, and they have the annual Lake Dillon Beer Fest. So you're going to want to go celebrate that. And here's a fun fact. Dewey Pearsall was born here. Do we or don't we? Dewey Pearsall was born here. Dewey Pearsall is a guy who developed and marketed the first home smoke detector. So, proud native son, saved a lot of lives, that guy. Dewey Pearsall came from Dillon, Colorado, as does this brand new pun, our brand new poem, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Dillon. Ahem, ahem. I once had a hooker in Dillon who said, boy, my pussy needs filling. So whip out your dick and jump on me quick. When I lift my legs, you start drilling.
That's so offensive.
As my wife says, that is so offensive. Yes, yes, it is. Remember, your complaints, go to davesgoneby@AOL.com or post it right here on our Facebook page. Send everybody to our various pages. Remember that our archives are several different places. You can find them on YouTube. Sometimes they're expurgated because of music and rights issues, but you can also find the past 3 years of our video archives just by scrolling and scrolling and scrolling down on this Facebook page. You can find all our archives, A to Z, at davesgoneby.com, from literally the show we did last week all the way to the one that started the show back in October of 2002. Most of the shows are audio only. They were on terrestrial radio or college radio. Last 3 years, of course, there's video too. If you just want audio, however, you can also go to castbox.fm, and that's where we've been loading just the audio files, and they connect, I think, to Google Play. So if you want to be out and about and you don't want the visual of the show, and why wouldn't you want to look at this face for 3 hours, you can get that. One of the best places to do that is castbox.fm, which is specifically for podcasts, and that's how our shows go up there. You can also find us at archive.org. Archive.org, we've been throwing all our shows week after week after week, so we're the last 13 years, going all the way back to the middle of 2006, are on that, on archive.org, on our Dave's Gone By page. However you want to listen to us, however you want to share us with the people that you know. The whole point is to get Dave's Gone By out there, get more listeners, more viewers, more fans and friends of the show. Speaking of friends of the Daverhood, I know we talked about that earlier, but we got a guest coming up, not next week, but the week after. I want to put this in your minds for the future. We have had so many pop and rock musicians on the show over the years. We've had everyone from Loudon Wainwright III to Judy Collins to members of the bands Dawes and Buck Cherry and October Project, and we've had just name after name. Melanie, for gosh sakes, was on our show. Tom Paxton was on a couple of times. Well, we've got another talented composer, songwriter coming on the show on July 25th, Willie Nile. Willie Nile has a lot of stuff going on. He's got a new album out and also a compilation album of other musicians covering songs by Willie Nile. So, among the people covering his songs, I actually have that list. 3 friends of the Daverhood, 3 other musicians who've been on this show, John Gorka, Dan Byrne, and Graham Parker. So they're on this album called Willie Nile Uncovered that comes out in the middle of August. Willie Nile has his own album out. We'll be talking. Rabbi Saul will be talking to Willie Nile, not next week, but in 2 weeks on Dave's Gone By. So you're going to want to set your watches. Go set your watch, man, to the episodes of Dave's Gone By that happen every Saturday from 9 until noon or thereabouts, right here on this Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. Just remains for me to wish that you all stay healthy, that if you're practicing your competitive eating, you start slow and ramp up. You start with cocktail week. Oh my God, the cookie. Oh my God. I did make it last till the very, very end. So I'm going to take one bite. I'm going to ask you, is there anything we haven't covered? Is there anything that still needs to be spoken about anything this week? I complained about shorts. Talked about Joey Chestnut and Miki Sudo. Congratulations to them.
What is the name of the cracker?
Oh, this is a wheat thin. It is a wheat thin cracker.
It's the competitive wheat thin eating
contest. Oh yeah, Joyce is checking to see if anybody has either had a competition on how many Triscuits or wheat thins. Because this is, I mean, here you really need the water.
You said you're the wheat thin eating champion.
Yeah, and? Oh boy, she's checking. It's not checking, it's a cracker.
I said Dave is the competitive wheat that you are. I just named you that.
Yay! Yay! But I'm the slow wheat thin eating champion. I make one wheat thin last 3.5 hours. That's the beauty of what I do.
You won, honey. I give you all the medals. Look at the medals. You've got a lot of medals.
I don't see anything.
The watch party, you'll see.
Oh, maybe I see it in the chat. Maybe if I no, I can.
You don't see your medals? You got a lot. Honey.
I don't know why I can't see anything. It's this new Facebook look that looks nice, but it's not very helpful. Anyway, I gotta go. It's been a delight. Thank you, dear. Thank you, my darling.
Was a little disturbing.
What was?
The rabbi.
Well, of course the rabbi is disturbed. That's the point. And the Limerick wasn't disturbing?
I don't see any comments either when I look at your main page.
I don't get it.
That's weird.
If you've been commenting and I haven't seen it, or we haven't responded to it, I'm sorry. I will look at all messages and comments during the week and respond when I have the time. You can also drop me an email, davesgoneby@aol.com. I've said that a zillion times already. I have a Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. You're going to want to check that out, Radio Dave and the number 2.
I found another way to invite people to the watch party just now. I'll do it next week.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
I learned something.
Yeah. And I need to make it number 2. So I think it's time for us to... Well, thank you. Well, more or less handsome than the rabbi.
Handsome in different ways.
Handsome in different... If I can just get rid of the... Maybe I was making fun of Kenny Rogers before with the surgery. If I just get away with these suitcases under my eyeballs. Let's see how I look.
You know, it's my fault because I woke you so early because I couldn't sleep.
Oh, well, no, it's my fault because I was born Jewish and I'm middle-aged. But here, let's try this. Let's see. Oh, we may have a FedEx package coming. Oh, please come this way. I better go. Have a wonderful week. No, he's coming across the street.
Oh, it's our day.
Damn you, FedEx man! Damn you! Break my heart again. Well, assuming we all stay healthy, I'll be back next week, July 18th, with the 755th episode of Dave's Gone By. Thank you so much to my adorable and wonderful wife, Joyce. I don't know yet. We may have a guest. We may not. Willing Isle is 2 weeks from now. But we'll try for a guest, and if not, we'll do more of what we did today and for the previous 753 days that we've done Dave's Gone By right here in the Daverhood. Yeah, everybody, you know the theme now. Sing along with Dave J to the theme.
Days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by.
I'm gonna play it again.
Days gone by, days gone by, days gone by.
Catch up, Sir Kensington. That's not the song, Dale. It's not the song. And Gone By.